fly. Ooh, and now you're sweating in your shacket. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you nail the high note while singing along to your favorite song? Yes, I did. That deserves a Dr. Pepper. Perfectly parallel park without bumping any bumper.
Yeah, but I locked my keys in the car.
That's okay.
I need my keys, little sweet.
That deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you get your kid in the car seat without losing your temper? Buckle in, that's a win. That deserves a Dr. Pepper. It's one of a kind, it'll blow your mind. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
For love of food, love of country, American Charlie Grill and Tavern is a new all-American eatery at the Shops at Edgewater. From the local team that brought you Firefly, On the Fly, and more. Classic dishes that have become staples of our country for over a century. American Charlie Grill and Tavern is open Monday through Saturday at 11 a.m. Daily happy hour from 2 till 6. $2 off all liquor, beer, and wine. Lots of TVs make it a great spot to watch all sports. Hope to see you soon at American Charlie Grill and Tavern.
I'm Matt Glover with Arrow Pest Service, and we are your family-owned and operated pest control company in Bay County since 1977. Now's the time to have us supply our long-lasting custom blend fertilizer that is guaranteed to be the answer your lawn needs in order to stay green and beautiful all summer long. Give us a call today at Arrow Pest Service, 850-874-1900. 850-874-1900.
Hi, this is Coach James Hale. Keeping your car looking great is easy as 1, 2, 3 at Blue Sky Express Car Wash. By joining their monthly wash club, you'll get the best bang for your buck. In just 2 car washes, your monthly membership pays for itself, starting at only $19.99 a month. What are you waiting for? Become a member today at Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Back Beach Road next to Home Depot. Tell them Coach Hale sent you.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. Growing up in Oklahoma, I had big dreams of becoming a successful country music singer. But I also knew the odds were against me and that I needed an education to fall back on. Studying never got in the way of my dreams. In fact, school gave me lots of opportunities I wouldn't have had otherwise with my career. Please stay in school and try your best. You never know where a good education might take you. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Celebrating 5 years of broadcasting history. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Marianna, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lights, camera, action.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Do you know who I am?
Live and local inside the J. Michael Studio.
People know me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And hit me, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, July 1st, 2022. Beautiful Friday, 4th of July weekend coming on, and we had some of the biggest news ever.
I have never seen you come in here so fired
I'm pumped, baby. Good Lord. There's so many great. You know what I love? When that song came on, Hit Me, I started thinking about Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley, you Oklahoma fans out there.
He got a wake-up call today.
He didn't want any part of the SEC. He's going to go to Southern Cal. He's going to get all these great players transfer. He's going to dominate out there. Well, Lincoln, call Nebraska.
He's got 2 years.
Call Nebraska and ask them how they feel, how they love the Big Ten.
August 1st, 2024.
Yeah.
Life will change.
Enjoy the next 2 years, Southern Cal. But I tell you what, man, what a day. Jim Brandt's with us this morning. Ryan Movey, the TV star, the radio personality, the coach of the year, the golf
flag football guru.
I mean, you name it, he's done it. It's all about family. He's got a gorgeous wife, wonderful kids.
I'm the Kyle Shanahan of flag football.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
I love the shirt.
Thank you. It's 4th of July weekend.
I
Time to celebrate our country.
You know, I went down there and bought another one of those shirts like that, and I forgot. This is how I think I'm losing it. I'd already got Julie the shirt. She goes, "That's great. You got it for me for her birthday."
You got a backup now.
Yeah. I said, "Oh, well." I said, "You got 2. It's really nice. It's a good cloth." But anyway, and Jason Kovaleski, Max Fit Sports Nutrition. Max Fit Sports Nutrition. I was down there yesterday. Try it before you buy it. So I took about 2 balls, put in my pocket. I'm gonna try to let you know how it works out.
I was wondering how much you were going to try.
They're counting inventory
You
today.
think you can go
They're
down to
missing some
Jason's
stuff.
place and get something to calm yourself down?
Oh man,
'Cause
I
you're like
needed
on a
it for the
sugar
day.
high. How many Dr. Peppers you have this
I hadn't
morning?
had it. It's just just the news to see how everything in college football world is changed is crazy.
It ain't
The
gonna be the
Big
same.
Ten is the big dog right now. If they get Notre Dame, wow.
It's the start of the super conference.
Yeah, it is. We're going to
It
have a
is.
commit. Bottom line, we talked about earlier off the air. You're going to have now. You throw away scholarships.
Right.
They're going to be employees of the university. They're going to copy everything the NFL's done. Playoff structure. There'll be a commissioner. You know it's coming.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know for a fact. I told Jason off the air this morning. I said, "Why do you think that Clemson's athletic director would leave Clemson to go to Miami?" Miami's in great shape because of the location.
Right.
It's going to be like the NFL. They're going to look at TV markets, and they'll look at the big names, and we'll get into a lot. We got so much stuff again today. It's crazy. But I think Miami's sitting pretty. But if they can get I think if they get Notre Dame, they're going to get Oregon. They're going to get Washington. And I think.
Those
You
two
tell me-
teams will be next.
Yeah.
And because them USC, UCLA leaving the Pac-12, left a huge vacuum.
Yeah.
Those were the standard teams in the Pac-12 that drove the league. So now you got Oregon looking around. You got Stanford. You got Washington. But the ones that make sense. And we talked about this last time we talked about Big Ten expansion. Big Ten is not just looking at football. They look at the AAU,
Explain
membership.
that money.
So AAU membership is research dollars into medical fields, into everything they want to do research. And some of these schools are bringing in billions of dollars. It dwarfs what they do in college football. So the presidents in the Big Ten are not going to look at teams that are not AAU accredited. I mean, I think
So Southern Mississippi's in pretty good shape to join the
they
Big
ain't
Ten.
coming.
They're in.
That's one of the reasons I don't believe the Clemson rumors. We've heard Notre Dame, Clemson might be leaving the SEC for the Big Ten. Clemson brings in about $227 million in research revenue. We just signed UCLA. They bring in $1.5 billion, and that's per year, and that's 7th in the nation. So Washington brings in 1.7. Oregon brings in like $500 million, which is close to what Nebraska brings it out, which is the lowest amount that any team in the Big Ten has. So the threshold is probably about $500 to $600 million of the research money. And if it makes sense TV wise, we talked about TV.
Well, what makes sense about that, who pays the bills on the athletic end is ESPN, Apple, Amazon. Big Ten is going to do it right. They're smart. I got to give them a lot of credit. I think we went a little bit too quick in the SEC. But look at the markets, Jim. You pointed out they already got Chicago. They got New York. Now they got L.A. They've got it, man. They got it.
See, a lot of people were like, "Why did they let Rutgers join? They're terrible." Blah, blah.
No, that
That's
was
the
smart.
New York, New Jersey market. And
Yeah.
what happens when you have a team in a certain market? Then that cable company has to provide the option for you to, get the Big Ten network in that market. So they just accumulated the L.A., California market, which is a huge market.
Unbelievable.
I mean, probably the biggest in the country. So this next TV deal for the Big Ten is probably going to be over $1 billion and bring in about 120 million to each team, which was up from 50 to 60 million, which is what both the SEC and Big Ten got last year. You're talking about doubling each, team's payout.
If
per
you
year.
kept it just like it is right now, before their new deal, the Big Ten, right now, and I had all these figures. I've done it in other shows, and I couldn't find my stuff. But anyway, $20 million more. Southern Cal would have made $20 million more, $20 million this year if they'd have been in the
the
Big
next
Ten.
contract, it'd be 80.
Oh yeah, or more,
And
or
that's,
more.
That's why they jumped.
That you have to.
Yeah.
SEC, really, Miami. That's the reason I say Miami's in better shape than Clemson. I think Miami's in better shape than Florida State because the location, the NFL teams down there, they're going to run everything like the NFL. All those TV sets down there, and really, we get most of them anyway. But I think Miami's in great shape. We don't really have to have Clemson, but I think Clemson will probably be with the SEC. I think teams like Virginia Tech, I think they're going to be in a different league. I don't think they're going to make it. I don't.
I just don't think they spend the money to compete with the big dogs. We talked about Florida State. Are they going to spend the money to compete with the big dogs? That's what we
got to get into later. Will Florida State be brought in? There's some want them, and there's some that don't.
Are we looking at more than 2 super conferences? Can
No,
the ACC survive? Some of their exit contracts are up to 30 years.
No, everything I'm hearing is the SEC, Big Ten. You're going to everything's going to be structured like the NFL. They're going to be employees. They're going to have contracts they have to order. That takes care of the transfer deal.
Right.
If you're a player and you sign on with those 2 super leagues, to either one, you're going to have to live by those rules. Or you know what? Go play at Southern Mississippi. That's
Right.
your option.
Or don't take the money.
Or don't, yeah. What's Southern Miss going to be able to pay you compared to Ohio
Alabama.
State or Alabama? Yeah, the team in South Alabama. So it's the world we used to is over.
They talk about, wanting parity in college. This is the exact opposite.
No.
You're going to have the big dogs fighting it out every year. It's going to be the same teams, which,
We don't have to worry about the Chanticleers of the world
Right.
anymore.
That's not very nice.
the UCFs.
That was a hateful statement right
Yeah.
there.
I
Now,
don't
one
say
team
anything
I'm
about the
interested in
Golden
is
Eagles.
UC. Just joined the Big 12. They're non-Power 5. Where do they fit in? Because they just went to the playoffs
They're
this
going to be
last
left
year.
out.
It seems like that's the
They're-
case. They just
no,
don't have the
they're-
money.
We're going to have a super conference. What's the number going to be, Ryan? Do you think it's going to be 18 per team or up to 24 per team? What do you think the number's going to be?
I don't think they can go to 24. I mean, I think they got to keep
I
it,
was-
16 or 18 or less on, So you're saying like SEC, Big Ten, Super Conference. Each side is one conference, and then they go kind of up like the NFC
Yeah.
and the AFC. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would. Who do you pull from if you go to 24?
You got to look now. I listen. If football runs the show, but I want us to later on look at North Carolina and Duke. They kind of fit in with the Big Ten, and it's going to be the Super League now. This is it, and you might not have a true national champion in basketball. I think that's one of the reasons UCLA. One of them, I know the main reason.
Right.
You can talk about that, the main reason, but I do think their basketball tradition all over the years is going to help them. That's another thing for Big Ten, another carrot for the Big Ten.
And some of the Olympic sports that we're not talking about,
Right,
like
right.
rowing and archery and baseball now has brought in some good teams for the Big Ten now, who's not been competitive all outside of Michigan in the last 5 10 years.
Jim, we talked about this a long time ago too. It's going to be they need to do it like high school football. You have 8A, 7A, 6A, 5A, 4, all the way down to the smaller division. It's here. It's here. There'll be national championships for the Southern Misses of the world. It's just going to be on a different level.
But I truly believe these conferences are going to go to 24 teams, and then they're going to split into divisions because you're going to have
Exactly.
48 total teams at least. Because where's Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Notre Dame, Washington, Oregon? All these teams spend money. They're in that top tier level of teams. They may not be making playoffs every year, but you just can't kick them to the curb and say,
Well,
you're not going to compete. So.
Yes, you can. But yes, you can. And if it's all
Tell
about
Clemson
it's
that-
all
or
about
Florida
money.
State.
No, it's all. I could see them being left out. You can get mad all you want, Florida State fans. It's all about the money. I think if you're an FSU fan, if you're someone like that, you want it to be 24 teams. The
Right.
more, the better for them. Because if it's only 18, I could see them being left out, and they'd be in a different division.
Okay. All right,
No. It's
now, let
money,
me throw
man.
my 2 cents in here. So if I'm going to kick out something from the ACC, Wake Forest,
No.
Virginia,
No,
They're not.
They're not,
Duke?
they have nothing to do with
They're
it.
going to be a
Duke.
non-power.
I think Duke's still in play with the Big Ten.
for football?
No,
Duke's
no,
in
it's not.
trouble.
Y'all don't think football.
No, it's all
This
sports.
is this all
Okay.
sport. UCLA and USC is all sports.
Right.
Big Ten.
All right, hold on.
It's not basketball separated
John-
from football.
John and I just talked about this before you guys got here.
We made
So-
a decision.
So, if you're USC, football is not going to be a problem travel. But does that mean that you're going to have to play at Rutgers for softball?
When you make another
And go
$80
all
million
the way-
a
and go
year,
all the way
I think
across
you
the
can pay
country?
for that.
I'm just saying. You're talking about a lot of sports.
Jason, it's
Or is
all.
this gonna be just football?
It's all sports. USC, and they've
Okay.
already came out and said it. They are in the Big Ten,
Oh, yeah.
all sports.
In 2024.
UCLA, all sports.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. And what?
I don't think
Florida
that's-
State will be in there. Come on.
I don't
now.
think it's as
Yeah, I
big of a
don't know.
detriment
If it's
as
all
you think
sports,
in
I
this
mean, look
day
at
and
Florida
age.
State, all
basketball,
sports.
baseball. That's good.
Yeah,
that's
I
good
mean,
for Florida State.
Track and
They
field,
were national
Yeah.
champs in soccer.
Yeah.
Girls, women's soccer. They're not going to have them get in?
volleyball. I mean, yeah.
No.
If it's
There's
all
no way.
sports, then yeah.
No way.
Hey, there is a way. There is
But
a way.
Y'all do
Well,
have
yeah,
to
there is
understand
a
what he's
way, but it
saying.
ain't going to happen.
They don't have the money to support these programs like y'all think. That's the reason they couldn't hire a coach back in the day. They don't have the
all right, Jason,
facilities.
thank you. Let me ask you this. If we go to 24, though, all this money, actually, if it goes there, it probably brings in even more money,
Right.
really. But you also split it more ways. So, not what I'm getting at. Not every team and not everybody in the SEC is going to vote. Let's bring FSU in here.
No.
You think really Auburn wants Look how close they are to one another.
Right.
We, and really and truly, honest to God, we don't need them.
You think Florida wants them in the SEC?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think it's good that they are in there,
Right.
but do you need them?
Not the way they're going now. With the
That's the
money
reason
they
they hopefully have a good year this year.
They can't even build facilities to please a coach. That's why Jimbo left. I mean, supposedly they had $100 million.
Yeah, I'm just keeping it real. I'm telling you, both sides, the good and the bad.
I agree with what you're saying. I still think you can't leave Florida State out. Too much of a traditional power.
And not only are they good in football though, they're great in basketball and they're great in baseball.
Usually,
yeah, the major three sports. So they should be decent, but they are other.
Alabama did
they
year.
are some teams. There's some
SEC
SEC schools that don't
Are you
want
going to have
them.
Miami, Florida, and Florida State in the same conference in the same division?
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see that every year. Those rivalries would be revamped. I think
it's like when they do the Big Ten. You know good and well they'll have East-West,
right?
And teams out west will be in it, and the teams in the East.
Basically,
I think North Carolina is going to be in the Big Ten.
They want North Carolina bad. I mean, they really do because they fit the whole criteria.
I'll be honest. If I'm the commissioner of the SEC,
the AAU money, North Carolina, Duke. Whew.
Yeah.
If I'm the commissioner of this SEC, do I want Clemson? Or would I rather have Notre Dame? I mean, not Notre Dame. We all want Notre Dame.
Right.
We all want it. We'll get them in it.
Manly doesn't want Notre Dame.
Or do you want North Carolina? North Carolina, look at them TV markets in that state. We already got South Carolina.
Right.
We already got their money. And they're pretty good. They're not football like Clemson.
Right.
Basketball.
But what is Clemson really good at outside of football right
That's
now?
What
and how long have they been successful in football?
Yeah.
Outside the Dabo Swinney era, they had some success here and there.
It's going to be like you said, what's the number? I was like you. I was thinking, let's keep it at 18, no more than 20. But it makes sense what you're saying, 24. That's 48, the best teams in college football.
Unless they go to a third super conference.
How many NFL teams are total out there?
32.
32.
Yeah. But there's at least 48 teams I counted that will want to be in the super conferences.
Yeah.
And if they have the money and they're spending it and they're competing every year.
Oh, God. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. We got into this.
We're excited
today. Pumped up today. College football has changed forever. But you also said we're all worried about going crazy about this. Our country's falling completely apart. We're not even going to be relevant anymore.
We'll worry about that tomorrow.
Yeah. As long as college, we got to worry about college football.
Right.
Anyway, J. Michael's Restaurant, world famous J. Michael's Restaurant today. Chris Fish's special is outstanding. Stevenson air conditioning. Does it not feel good in here this morning? Does it feel good? That's because of Stevenson air conditioning. Buffalo Rock, are you Jim Bob, you a pepper? What do you got in your hand? Got a pepper?
Nothing.
Yeah,
zero sugar, pot of pepper. There you go.
Unlike you.
I like the hard stuff, baby. American Charlie today is catfish is
To them, that's a White Claw.
The catfish is help me. It's really good. The catfish.
Fried catfish at American Charlie.
Get down there and try it. You'll love it. And have a great 4th of July. We're out. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
I just don't think Brooklyn checks boxes. I do not believe KD and Kyrie and Simmons will ever win a championship. I think it's fantasy land. It'll never happen. There's enigmatic injuries. Forget it. The mission was winning, and you did whatever it took to win games. Winning was number one. Again, with Kyrie, it's not.
The Herd, weekdays 11 to 2 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Friday morning. My forecast is calling for a blend of sun and clouds today, spotty showers of thunderstorms, and the temperatures will range from about 85 to 92. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Showers of thunderstorms overnight and showers of thunderstorms over the holiday weekend. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey, cheesy, crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously. But as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh, yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Broadcasting live from the Redneck Riviera. It's the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Ryan Mulvey's with us. We're going to get back in this minute. Ryan, I want to give you an opportunity. What is going on down at Bay Point? I can't wait to the first night of bingo. And give us what's anything lately going on in the golf world.
Well, you got tons of stuff going on in the golf world right now. The LIV Tour and the PGA Tour. There's lots of news almost daily at this point. But one of the big announcements, I don't know if it changes anything, but the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, which is formerly known as the European Tour, have merged to create an alliance. I really don't. People ask me, what does that mean? I think they're just kind of combining to be one tour. But the European Tour, I'm going to call it the European Tour, even though it's the DP World Tour, is always kind of, in my opinion, been like the Korn Ferry Tour in the U.S., but in Europe. All the European guys and the international guys that couldn't make it on the PGA Tour, some of them play in some events, but they primarily play on there. So I think the PGA continues to try to take steps to combat the LIV Tour, and the LIV Tour just keeps getting players. Obviously, Brooks Koepka came over after the U.S. Open. Max Homa, Abraham Anser's playing in it this time. So they're actually currently in Portland, Oregon, playing on U.S. soil at Pumpkin Ridge. Round one was yesterday.
Why don't they just pay him more?
Exactly.
They're trying to do everything.
Well, that's
but
what they came out with. They came out with this new. We probably talked about it last week. That the new season-ending schedule where they're kind of doing very similar stuff. But yeah, it's just funny that the PGA Tour is standing on all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the LIV Tour keeps making progress, and then the PGA Tour keeps changing what they're doing, and it's just this little battle between Jay Monahan and Greg Norman right now. But again, more people are talking about golf than ever. You've got a lot of the traditionalists that believe, you should be loyal to your tour, you shouldn't leave the PGA Tour, et cetera, and then you got kind of all the new people. It's very similar to what's happening in college football.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. You're following the money. These people are getting more opportunity to make real dollars. But again, where's this going to be in 2 years? Is the LIV Tour still going to be around? How many players have jumped? Is the PGA Tour still around? Is the Korn Ferry Tour still around? Because one of the real interesting things that happened, I think it happened between last week's show and this week's show, is the number 2 ranked amateur in the world was turning pro. Well, did he go to the Korn Ferry? No. Did he go to the PGA Tour? No. He went to the LIV Tour. So he went immediately to this tour as the number 2 ranked amateur in the world, and he's going to that tour. So if you start to see that trend happening, that's going to be interesting. Wow. But now there's tons of people that are right on that cusp of being on the Korn Ferry Tour and then onto the PGA Tour. So there's tons of people out there trying to make it. So on the flip side, it may open up more avenues for people that may have not made it to one of the tours to get on the tour, the Korn Ferry or whatever it may be, if people are starting to go directly from amateur golf to the LIV Tour. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But you've got the Open Championship coming up in a couple of weeks, which will be the 150th playing of the Open Championship, the British Open, whatever people want to call it. It's being played at St. Andrews. Excuse me. Tiger Woods is actually playing in that tournament. He's committed to playing it because it's at St. Andrews. He always says that's his favorite golf course in the world. It's one of the oldest golf courses in the world. But a lot of history coming up in the next couple months. So a lot going in the golf world. It's pretty exciting. You can actually bet on the LIV Tour on DraftKings now, so that's exciting.
All right, and exciting too. Bay Point bingo.
Yeah.
We got to do more than just one now.
Sold out again?
Yeah, it's sold out. Yep.
It's sold out
Again.
quickly.
Yep.
Quickly.
Yep.
Now, is this going to be something in the future we can be doing maybe once a month?
Yeah, we're going to certainly try. Yeah, if everything lines up and we've got somebody to call the bingo and, obviously we'll have enough participation. But we'll see how it goes. It'll be our first time doing it kind of in-house, so we'll have some fun with it. And everybody loves bingo. I mean, there's a couple bingo halls around Bay County that are always packed out, it seems. So
I'm looking for, I think y'all got knocked out of the ballpark.
it's going to be, you're looking forward to it because it's going to be you and 76 other women.
Well, as long as he doesn't have to answer trivia questions.
Yeah, all he's got to do is get lucky and daub his bingo card.
I can't wait.
Doesn't have to
I
answer
do
the
get to
question.
sing the opening.
Could you be a celebrity caller?
No.
Let me hear you say B14.
I want to win. No,
say
I want to
B14.
Yeah, you can't call and win at the same
See,
time.
he won't let me do both.
It's called
If he
conflict of interest.
we talked about it for a long time, and he finally said, "I don't think this is a good idea."
The problem is
drop
his
his card.
appearance fee is just way too high.
Oh yeah,
way too high.
He moved up from free meals in a golf cart?
Yes, Jim, we have gone way high,
And
baby.
discounts to the golf shop. He pokes his head around my office. Any discounts today? I'm sure he does the same thing down at Max Fit.
Are you throwing anything away?
Yep.
Hey, you got to be smart.
Where's your free section?
I do have to thank you three, though, because since you guys are doing this Friday deal, my pay has gone to the roof. I mean, I should probably give you. Never mind. Never mind.
Profit sharing.
Just give us the money back we pay for your lunch.
I've watched Colonel Parker. I watched Colonel Parker. He knows what he's doing. I'm going to follow his strategy.
Take some notes.
Yeah, I'm learning. All right, I got to ask a question to all three of you guys. And really, Ryan, you're in New York, but we all grew up with the Rose Bowl. This Rose Bowl deal has really screwed up a lot of stuff, the power they have over all this. I think now it's still going to be a big game, but I don't think it's going to be like it was before. I don't think that Rose Bowl committee is going to have the power they've had in the past. Am I wrong or right about that? I know it's tradition and everything like that. I don't care when the damn game's played, and that's been reason they moved the whole playoffs to make sure the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the Rose Bowl people are happy.
Right.
To me, is that out the window now of the Super League?
I thought it was after the winter, after the playoffs start. You know, some of these secondary bowls are afterthoughts. Yeah, the game last year was exciting, but, you know, was it life or death for me watching it, you know, knowing that neither one of them's playing for a national title. So I think the way everything has worked out here in just the last couple of days, I don't think we know what the future is going to hold as far as bowls, as far as, you know, sites, because I truly believe that this playoff is going to go to 12 to 16 teams if we go to a 48 team, you know, super conference. So we're not done yet with the addition of teams to these conferences, the structure, who's going to oversee and police the game at this point, because I don't think the NCAA is going to be involved in the future.
Jason, if they go and do it like the NFL, like that's all I am hearing.
That's what I'm hearing too.
Are in that business, that it's going to be set up like the NFL.
Commissioner.
One
commissioner for every.
There'll be one guy over both the super leagues,
right.
And we need that.
Yeah, because not every league has the same rules. You know, you can oversight in one league, or you can do this in one league and not the other, and that's a huge advantage. In some
they
cases.
need to play exact same number. It's going
Schedules
to
are different.
I think you probably will see. I think the money they're going to pay these schools. I think they're going to demand that. Hey, we want to see Big Ten play every week. We don't want to see the Big Ten playing Toledo. We don't want to see Southern Mississippi playing Mercer or Austin P.
And I think we're going to see that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. You
I
can
think
see
you're
every
have
game.
To play the group of 48.
Yeah, you're not going to play outside the.
No,
it's like the NFL. It's something you're going to.
You may get one game, I think, maybe that they'll have a cupcake or something. But I mean, it's hard to see where this is going to go exactly. I mean, I think we all have a feeling where we think it's going to go, but until everything's kind of settles. It's still a lot of uncertainty, especially with Notre Dame and Oregon. Where do these teams go? Where does Florida State, Miami go? I mean, there's so many chips to fall still for us to really get a clear.
Do you think, and y'all all give an opinion on this, do you think we'll see now with a not home and home, but playoffs, instead of being like going to Dallas, going to maybe the first round all be played at home? The higher ranked team gets to play at home?
I think if we go to 12 teams, you have to. I mean, can you ask a fan base to travel to 3 neutral site games in a year? I mean, you're talking $3,000 to $5,000 a family.
I'll be honest with you. Alabama, we go to Atlanta the week one, or either Dallas. Then you have the SEC championship game. Then you got the playoff games, 2 playoff games. I mean, we've done it. We've been there. Ohio State's done it.
Add 2 more of those games to a neutral site, I just don't see how they could do it logistically. I mean, you're talking about 3 weeks in a row where fans are traveling to maybe Dallas, to Atlanta, to maybe even California. I just don't see how that's feasible for a fan base.
Well, and if you switch to this NFL style, I mean, your regular season record and where you finish in your league or your conference, whatever we're going to call it, it determines home field advantage.
Right.
So I think you have to. There's not enough places to go and that kind of stuff, you have to have some home games.
I want to see it.
But
I want to see Alabama travel to Columbus in December.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see that. Not that I don't think they could succeed, but you know, those.
Well, then it's going to come to play schemes
I'm
like
gonna be the
throwing
devil's
the ball
advocate
the
here,
field
okay?
and the snow.
Can you run the ball? Have you built your team to be balanced? That's why a lot of people don't.
NFL's. That's the reason most NFL teams are kind of balanced.
Right, and that's why a lot of Big Ten teams, when they play Southern teams, is because they're built to run in the snow. They're built on power football. They come down in the summer and play in these 80-degree weather against SEC teams, and they get blown out. And people are like, "What happened?" The teams are built different.
Some of the bowl games down south are hot.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
those
Jim,
teams are
I'm sorry.
built
What'd you say?
Here's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. I know it. If you have home field, like we're talking about, like the NFL truly has home field playoff games, okay? So either you're going to cut back the amount of regular season games that college teams are going to play.
Right.
Because if you increase the playoff games, you are going, James, you are going to have games up north where it's, oh my God, cold, okay? I'm gonna give you an example, okay? From my own experience, 1976, December 4th, 1976, at the Akron Rubber Bowl, we were playing Northern Michigan. The wind chill was -5, okay? So we're at home, but it was, please put me on the field and let me run around. I don't want to stand on the sidelines freezing. Please let me do something where I can run around. That's going to happen. Now, and here's what's going to happen. All the Floridas and Clemsons and Alabama, it's too damn cold up there. We ain't going to play up in that stuff.
Well, wait a minute.
Let's go to Atlanta or
It's going to be
or
like
Chattanooga.
it's going to be like the NFL. You're going to have that's going to be northern teams playing for that championship to meet the champion of the SEC.
Right.
So we'll be playing the southern teams at that point.
But if you get to the playoff and there's a higher rated northern team,
What I'm saying, I don't think we'll have it the mix. I don't think it's going to be like the playoff one playing. I think it's going to be the divisions. I think it's going to be like the NFL.
And then the AFC.
It could be like it could be like you're talking about, like it is now.
That makes sense.
But I was thinking more, it's going to be like truly like what I'm kind of hearing. It's going to be like the NFL. Those teams will be playing their own type teams up there, and the winner of that, their league will play the winner of the SEC for the national championship.
But that's not how the NFL works. The NFL, you have all your divisions.
You have the AFC.
But the AFC East, you've got New England, you've got Miami.
But they're all in the different.
But they play other AFC teams, which are all across the country.
Explain to them.
So they're still going to have to play cold teams and North teams.
The Big Ten's the AFC, so they're going to play Big Ten teams.
Yeah.
SEC is NFC. They're going to play
in the playoffs.
And then the winners of those will meet for the
Super Bowl.
Yeah, but a Southern Cal has to go to Ohio State in January.
They're going to have to go.
Yeah.
They're going to go. They're going to have to go to Rutgers.
One thing I would say about the Rose Bowl, because USC and UCLA are joining the Big Ten, the Rose Bowl's dead to me. I mean, who's
all
the Pac-12
teams
teams going to join that? And you're going to have USC maybe possibly playing like Oregon in a Rose Bowl.
Y'all hold your thoughts real quick.
Good point.
Jason, what's going down on Max Fit Sports Nutrition?
Right now, we're bringing in First Form. I know a lot of people love First Form. They got great proteins, great products. So we should have that in about a week and a half. We've made the order, but it's been a little slow on getting that in. We do have the sample bar to try before you buy. We just got in some ladies' tank tops, Long Lift the Queen, Muscle Mommy, some hard pass shirts. So, ladies, we got some tank tops in. And we always have local military first responder discounts daily. So come see us in Pier Park North next to Dick's Sporting Goods.
And don't forget about Chuck Tucker, South Oak Title and Closing. Beth Mulvey is one of the top realtors around here. Mark Coward, all these big-time guys, they use Chuck Tucker. Incredible guys, South Oak Title and Closing. Don't forget about the best and newest, the best and newest Mexican restaurant, El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill. Happy hour 4 to 7. You will always see Ryan and I down there. I tell you what, you danced around that hat pretty good. I was impressed, buddy.
Yeah. Well,
is that the reason you were on TV the other day?
2 for 1 margaritas. You can't
beat that.
Can't beat that,
baby.
You don't know what's going to happen after you do that a couple times.
Good things happen down there. All right, we'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida and Destination Panama City invite you to celebrate the birth of our great nation at the City of Panama City Salute to Freedom at the Visitor Center on West Beach Drive. It's a day filled with live music. The Freedom Parade starts at 5. At 9:30, you'll have the most spectacular view of the fireworks right on beautiful St. Andrews Bay. Salute to Freedom from Destination Panama City, the City of Panama City, and your station for the best 4th of July celebration. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hi, I'm Kevin Shady with KHS & Associates. We represent private insurance providers using multiple nationwide PPO networks for pre-negotiated discounted rates and no co-pays, no co-insurance, and no deductibles. If you're interested in a quote, give us a call or text 502-386-1128 and provide us your zip code and the ages and gender of those to include. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
The brand new Burger King in Weewa Hitchka is looking for managers and team members. You'll get to use your smile and personality and get paid for it. You'll be responsible for getting guests excited about their experience every day at Burger King. You'll get to work in a safe, productive environment that allows employees to thrive and advance with career opportunities. Burger King promotes from within. They offer training and development, flexible schedules, employee meal discounts, and scholarship opportunities. Burger King is an equal opportunity employer. Interested job seekers should text 007-8075 to 31063 to apply. Must be at least 16 years of age.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local from the J. Michaels studio.
Boss, I got good news and bad news. What's the bad news? Your hat's on fire.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, here we go. You're the commissioner of the SEC. You met with all your people. Who are you going to bring in? I will start. I'm going to start, okay? This is who I want to bring into the SEC. And don't laugh. Hear me out. I'm going to call, and I'm going to get Miami number one because we want to make sure the network's going to pay us a huge amount of money. And remember, we're going to be really kind of following the same structure of the NFL. All the TV market down there. Not only that, the great players that Ohio State comes down and gets, and all the other teams from all over the country go to Miami and get.
Everybody but Florida.
And Florida State.
So that helps us. So Miami would be one. Number two, I'm going to take FSU. All the national championships. They're great in baseball. They're really good in basketball. So you got a great athletic department there. Not everybody's on the same page in SEC wanting them in for whatever personal reasons.
Money.
But I would take FSU. And then I would go, I'm thinking outside the box. And I also saw this somewhere, kind of cheated. I'd bring in Baylor, another team from Texas. Okay, they got a good football team. They're pretty good in basketball when they're not in jail. They're not murdering people out there. They're pretty good. Then I would take Clemson because of the national championships they won in football. But you're right. The other sports I'm not too impressed with. But
and you got South Carolina.
We already got South Carolina
in that state, so you have.
But I don't want Virginia Tech. I don't want West Virginia. I don't want those. We don't need those. Now the one I would want, of course, I'm not even going to mention Notre. I want Notre Dame. Everybody wants that. Right. Everybody knows that. But I would go after North Carolina. The TV markets in that state. They got a professional team there. That'd be a big hit. Basketball, you got basketball.
Football at Mac Brown's
Football
back.
at Mac Brown. That's who I'd want.
Yeah.
That's mine. Ryan, you bring us in some SEC schools. Who would you go with?
I mean, obviously Miami and Notre Dame, but what if you went with a Houston or somebody like that?
Big market, TV market,
huge market.
That's
in Houston.
That was a good one.
You were thinking about Texas markets, versus Baylor, which is probably a little smaller market out there in Waco, but good athletics, obviously.
Good point.
And Houston's doing pretty well. What about
recruiting all those kids in Lit? Yeah, that's a good point.
In Oklahoma State, somebody like that. I'm trying to be a little different from what you said.
Yeah.
I think West Virginia or somebody like that makes sense maybe for the Big Ten. Not a huge market, but their school has a big following. Going a little further, what about Tech or TCU? somebody along those lines, trying to think kind of on that southern hemisphere area. Obviously, Miami's a good pick.
You didn't like my North Carolina?
Yeah, no, I just didn't want to say the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So we have to agree with you? Is that
No. I know. I'm just getting different opinions. I was asking why he didn't think North Carolina would be a good pick.
I do think it'd be a good one, especially across all sports. Get that Myrtle Beach market. Get those
Would you
Coastal
take
Carolina
FSU?
shots. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think you can't. If this all comes to fruition, I think you can't not take FSU. Just regardless of their money now and all that, it's just a historic program, and they're always going to draw a market of people to watch.
Yeah, and I think they get in here, the amount of money they'll make now, I think it's going to make a lot of people that don't want them now in the SEC going to make it. I know why they don't want them. Because
I think their administration will start to get things going with facilities. If you're going to be in this group of 48 teams and really try to win championships, which is what these teams are supposed to be doing, they're going to spend some money.
All right, what would you just focus on the SEC? Who would you bring in?
On the SEC side, I would definitely look at Miami, Florida State first. I mean, those are more regional teams that have been traditional powers in the past. I think North Carolina's a home run for whatever school that they go to. I mean, academics, basketball, football, the money they bring in research is phenomenal. And then I think you got to take Clemson. I mean, they're one of the hottest teams over the last 10 years. Recency bias. I mean, I look at them. I think that's a big, team to go after. Doesn't do much for the TV market, TV contracts. But I'm not sold on Baylor, Houston. I don't think those teams can compete in the SEC. And from my perspective, what the SEC is trying to do is add quality football teams. They're not looking at, can you bring me the Houston market? Of course, that if it lines up, they're trying to do that.
TV people look at that.
Right. Yeah. And they drive these conversations more than people think behind the scenes. Right. So, but those four teams are the ones I would add immediately, and then I would maybe start to look out west to expand that TV contract.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned, would somebody look at Arizona State just to get more? I wouldn't personally. Football there is not, and they're really not that. Maybe baseball they're pretty good in.
If you talk about all sports, though, I mean, they both historically have very good athletic.
Arizona's been rumored for the Big Ten. I mean, I can tell you where the Big Ten is going to go next. I mean, but
hold off on that. Hold on. Jim, what do you got? The SEC.
Well,
what would you do?
This is the disadvantage of going last because you
covered
you guys have used up all the good options, but those all make sense, especially North Carolina. I think that's one that would I initially wouldn't think of first, but I think that would make a lot of sense. And of course, Miami. I mean, Florida State. I mean, you kind of covered the most logical ones.
It is. None of us. I don't want West Virginia. I don't think they bring a lot to the table. Virginia, I don't think brings a lot to the table.
Virginia now is a little different, though.
Academically, it's unbelievable.
They're phenomenal academically. I mean,
beautiful campus. If you've heard
beautiful campus, a lot of research money. They every now and then have a decent football program. Just depends on what you're looking at. If it's strictly football, you would probably say no. But everything else that they bring, I think Virginia's going to get in, and it'll be a popular pick by whatever conference they get.
All right, let's switch it to the Big Ten. Jason, I'll let you go first.
Well, the teams I know that they're talking to immediately now because USC and UCLA left, they're going to be Oregon, Washington. Those are huge markets for the Big Ten. That's what they're going after, the Seattle market. I mean, Washington brings in $1.7 billion in research money. That's fifth nationally. Those teams, the Big Ten really wants, and I think they really want the Big Ten. To me, after that, I don't think they go back into the Pac-12 anymore. I don't see a bunch of quality, ads from the Pac-12. I'm looking at Notre Dame and North Carolina. I think Notre Dame just, geographically makes sense, academically, football-wise. They have a decent basketball program, decent baseball program. They bring in probably the biggest fan base in the country. And then North Carolina, I think they fit a little bit better with the Big Ten just because the research money they bring in, their academics, good at football, basketball. So those four, to me, would be a home run: Washington, Oregon, North Carolina, Notre Dame.
All right, there's two teams I want to mention, not because of football, because you got to remember, we're all forgetting this. Southern Cal and UCLA, it's all sports.
Right.
Okay. Texas, Oklahoma, it's all sports. Because we're talking not just football, but the major three you got to look at: baseball, basketball, football, and then, of course, you got to look at all the other ones too. You can't forget about Louisville because of basketball,
right?
Or Duke because of basketball. Would those two fit in the Big Ten?
Duke's hard for me because, outside of basketball, how good are they at other sports? What type of money they bringing in? I mean, that North Carolina market to me is North Carolina. Duke has a niche following in basketball, but does it expand beyond that? What's their fan base like? How much money they bring in?
And Krzyzewski's gone now.
Yeah, after Krzyzewski, what type of program they're really going to have? I don't see Duke as a fit for the Big Ten just because they're a smaller school, but they're an attractive
academically,
basketball school.
They're outstanding.
Yeah, academically, attractive basketball school, but I just see other programs that I think were more attractive in bigger markets that I would go after.
What about
first.
Louisville?
Louisville seems to me more like an SEC ad to me. I mean, I don't think they fit traditionally in the Big Ten. I mean, good football program, good basketball program, but do they have the money to compete? I just don't see it from them.
Okay. All right, Jim, who you like? If you could pick the other schools in the Big Ten.
I would think Oklahoma State would be attractive,
That's a good one.
Because they got a pretty good football program for a long time. And certainly you just compare them to some Big Ten programs now like Indiana and Illinois and Rutgers, Maryland. Certainly Oklahoma State for the last 15 years or so has been way better than them two, or than those 2, 3, or 4. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, would they do it? I don't have any idea. But just athletes-wise and programs-wise, I think they would be a good fit, too. They're good in baseball, so I think that would be
another state. Yeah.
Yeah, different TV market.
Yeah. Who you got? Who would you bring?
I mean, obviously, I think Oregon comes to the table here in the next wave. But what about Pittsburgh? Big market, big TV. Obviously, they have the Steelers there, too. But I think the Pittsburgh kind of fits in with the Big Ten. Obviously location, but right up there with Penn State.
That makes sense. How are they academically?
Not so good.
That's right. Yeah. They get that up. They get the profit share.
They're Big 12 good.
That's like
it's a big market.
That's a big market.
Big market for sure.
And if you go to 24, maybe that's one they would look at.
Yeah, if we go to 24, this conversation is going to be completely different. They're going to absorb a lot of teams that maybe you wouldn't think get in.
Yeah, the Utahs of the world.
Stanford's probably, Cal.
I mean, that's one I didn't even think about.
Stanford's a team we ain't talked about, and they're a very attractive academically.
Well,
they've been good.
They're good, pretty good in every sport.
They're good in everything. They win the whatever cup every year almost, which is the trophy they give to the team that has the most success in all sports.
Right.
Academically, they bring in $2.1 billion in research money, which is second nationally. I mean, to me, that's another.
All right, hold your thoughts right there. We got a break.
That's another market too. That's outside of the San Francisco, San Diego, but close enough.
The one you said really that Pittsburgh. I didn't even think about. That's a huge market.
That's what I bring to the table every Friday.
You know what? It's amazing.
That's why we're the dream team, baby.
The ratings
and they play flag football, so
I get your intelligence.
Exactly.
You come in here academically, you bring it to the roof.
That's right.
Jason comes into the women, the ratings go through the roof. It's just crazy. Hey, Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Baton Beach Road. You want your vehicle to look brand new. Go try it. You'll absolutely love it. Newbies, John and Charlotte do such a wonderful job. Some of the best entertainment out there at the mothership. Newbies 2 on the Curve. You can watch all sporting events. And don't forget about your skin, man. If it doesn't look right, feel right, please don't put it off. Go see Dr. Ward. Anywhere in Northwest Florida you're listening right now, there's an office near you. He does an incredible job. And then again, you want to feel better, look better, go down and see Jason Kovaleski, Max Fit Sports Nutrition. I was in there yesterday and got a couple things. Got a couple things he didn't know I got. Really good place to go.
Did you pay for him?
No, absolutely not. I'm giving him advertising. It's called Trade Out. We'll be right back. He didn't know about it, but we'll trade it out. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has the real local fishing report. This is Tim from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Join me every Thursday afternoon at 5:15 during the Afternoon Underdogs and Friday mornings during the 6 a.m. hour. It's accurate, concise content from local anglers right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Friday morning. My forecast is calling for a blend of sun and clouds today, spotty showers and thunderstorms, and the temperatures will range from about 85 to 92. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Showers and thunderstorms overnight and showers and thunderstorms over the holiday weekend. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Did you make it out the door on time?
Yeah, but I have lipstick on my teeth.
Ooh, that color looks great on you. And you deserve a tasty treat. Did you take an alternate route and avoid 30 seconds of traffic? Or did you weather apple out? Ooh, and now you're sweating in your jacket. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you nail the high note while singing along to your favorite song? Yes, I did. That deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you perfectly parallel park without bumping any bumper? Yeah, but I locked my keys in the car. That's okay. I need my keys a little sweet. That deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you get your kid in the car seat without losing your temper? Buckle in, that's a win. That deserves a Dr. Pepper. It's one of a kind that'll blow your mind. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
You don't know what his problem is,
Quit moaning, we're all hurting.
but it's probably hard to pronounce and untreatable.
That don't feel so good.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local from the J. Michael Studio, ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We have solved all the problems. We've got the teams the Big Ten needs to bring in and the SEC.
Austin Peay,
for
Mercer.
the Southern Mississippi.
Tennessee Martin.
So the Super Conference, well, we are the NFL now. It's the NFL all over.
It's the minor leagues.
All right, Jason, Jim, I know you two guys are really Big Ten guys, but this is what I think. Obviously, Washington, bring them in. Seattle market, you got to get Washington in there. I would bring Oregon in. Then I'm looking at all sports, okay? I definitely want North Carolina. Notre Dame, everybody. That was we didn't even need to bother. Everybody wants Notre Dame. Yeah. That's the key. They get Notre Dame, they got the best conference.
I think Notre Dame's going to tilt the power to one of the other conferences. Because right now, Big Ten's a little bit behind the SEC with the Texas, Oklahoma joining. But if they get Notre Dame in with USC, Oregon, then that it closes the gap.
If you get Notre Dame in there, their tradition, all the championships they won throughout college football history, Southern Cal, Ohio State, just those four right there are the four of the biggest names ever in college football. That's pretty impressive. That's just your top end. But again, Oregon, Washington for sure. But I do want to ask you too. North Carolina, I'd definitely take them.
Yeah.
And then I love what Ryan brought to the table. Pitt, that's a big market.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's pretty
and they're
good.
sleepy good every year. I mean, in basketball and football.
But if I'm looking at all sports, would I bring in, and help me with this, would I bring in Kansas? Because I started thinking about Kansas. Basketball, national champs. I know they're terrible in football. I know that. But don't we need a cupcake football game every once in a while for the Big Ten? And academically, academically, Kansas is up there now. And they just won the national. They're good in basketball. So what do you think about that?
I think somebody's going to add them. I think the Big Ten makes more sense with them, especially with geographically. I'm not sure their academics, but they seem to be pretty good. But I have to go back and research that. I'm just kind of
Would you
guessing.
consider them, Jim?
Yeah,
Kansas?
I would think so.
Absolutely.
Just for the basketball.
Yeah, basketball wise, think of a conference. You got the Big
UCLA,
Ten, UCLA, Kansas. Oregon's
Michigan,
pretty good.
Michigan's basketball.
Yeah, Michigan's good in basketball.
You add, maybe add a North Carolina in there. You got a historic blue blood. So the main thing is it's exciting because we really don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months.
Crazy.
But I think it's going to happen fast because now teams that weren't selected, in the Pac-12, in the Big 12, they're scrambling. They got to get in one of these conferences. That's where the money is. And if you can't get that money secured for your team, you're going to fall way behind. You're talking $1 billion difference between what the Big Ten will get paid out per team. That's per team. Versus what the Pac-12 will get paid out over the next 15 years. And if you tell me I'm getting $1 billion more than my competitor, I'm going to succeed.
Right. Yeah.
there was one school I was going to talk to you guys about before you text me, and I saw about USC and UCLA. That changed everything. But before then, I was looking at Houston. What an opportunity Houston have going into Big 12, because what he said, the market there, the amount of high school football players just around there, the TV market, everything, that could have been a big step up for Houston, Central Florida. But now they're going to be in a different level. This is going to be like, if you look at high school football, you got the largest division and the smallest. That's what you're going to see in college football now. The Sun Belt's going to be one of the smaller ones. The American Conference will be a little bit higher. Then you'll have the Big 12, ACC, Pac-12. They'll probably be in the one together. And then you got the Super League.
The team
Super
I'm most
Conference.
interested in, and you're talking about Houston, is University of Cincinnati. Where do they fit in? Can they jump into that top tier 48 teams? They just made a playoff. They are good at other sports, basketball.
Ohio State's not going to want them in there. Come on. Michigan's not going to want them in there. I don't think they'll get the votes to get in.
I don't either.
I don't think they will in the Big Ten just because of the academics, but there's got to be a place for UC.
It ain't going to be in the SEC. What?
Then there's got to be a third conference.
No, I think it's going to be two. I think we see it.
I think there's going to be some programs that we're going to be shocked are going to get left out. Then.
Yeah.
I mean, shocked.
Yeah.
Because UC competes. They're traditional.
Oklahoma State might get left out.
Yeah, that could.
They really could.
Some of these Pac-12 teams like Cal,
Arizona State.
They're going to be in a different
Utah.
league.
What are all they all?
BYU. I think they're going to be in a different.
Yeah, BYU. There's one we haven't even thought about.
Different division.
I think Utah.
This is about huge money. It's all about the money, and it's going to be the Super Boys. They're going to have their commissioner. They're going to vote on different things, and it should be Southern Mississippi. We should not have the same power and vote of an Alabama or Georgia or Florida State. I mean, I'm sorry. And at one time, we were right there with Florida State. Florida State went to the roof. We went to the basement. It's sad what happened, but it is what it is.
What happens if some of these smaller schools, the Austin Peays, the Mercer, all that, stop having the opportunity to play these big-time teams? And
you're going to see some,
Are you going to see football
drop.
programs going away at some of these universities?
I think you will. I really do.
You're just not going to get the TV revenue that you would for a second-tier, conference. I mean, they're not playing for a national championship. How many people actually watch Division II, Division III games on a weekly basis? So it's inevitable.
The only time you watch them seriously is like December 1st to the bowl games start when they're on TV. And there's nothing else to watch.
When D1 games aren't on.
Yeah. And you can't blame the networks. And they're going to they're going to try to get big. I got to give Big Ten a lot of credit. I think we went too quick. That was a lot of money they were throwing around. But now, I think they're going to have to pay even more. But I think you want Amazon involved. You want all these different networks involved. And I do believe when we get to the playoffs, the two Super Leagues, I think you're going to see it's not going to be just the Big Ten network covering the games. No. It's going to be CBS. They're going to have a game. ABC will have a game. I mean, NBC will have a game. SEC, ABC, same thing.
Amazon will be streaming again. YouTube TV will be streaming again.
Everything.
That's why these TV contracts right now in the Big Ten, Amazon and YouTube drove that from about 60, 70 million up to about 100, 110 million.
And they're all going to get a piece of it.
Oh, yeah.
And which is going to do what? The money goes up. And that's the reason I say, people's feelings are going to get hurt. If you can't bring something to the table, you're not going to get a piece of that pie.
Right.
I mean, because they all, we want to split it up, but they don't have to anymore.
No.
They're going to make what they want to make. I don't see I wouldn't be shocked some of the teams y'all have mentioned don't make it.
Right.
It's not going to shock me. Everybody's going, how in the world could that happen?
No, if you come up with all about 48 teams, there's going to be some good teams, traditional teams that have probably won in the past that are not going to make it.
Not going to make it. Yeah.
And I don't see how you go above 48. There's no way you could have a schedule and finish
honestly,
it.
I thought it'd be 40.
Right.
I thought it was going to be 40.
I'm just going off what I've heard a couple places just because there's a lot of teams and a lot of movement right now. What I've heard is 48 teams, 24 per, division or per conference, and then 12 per division.
Let's take this phone call. I think I know who it is.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
That's my buddy. How you doing, Rob?
I'm all right.
Help us,
man. I just got a quick question. Okay, we're talking about having, a 48-team conference, a super 48-team conference, right?
Yep.
Okay. There's how many teams now that are basically what we call eligible to, make the bowl games and stuff?
119.
119 or either 130. I can't remember.
119. So that means let's just, for giggles, say 75 teams are not going to make it into this conference.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yeah.
So, wow. And like you said, Miami is a great football team. They've got a good baseball, and they're coming along with basketball. But they have a small alumni.
Mm-hmm.
They do have some money, some big money boosters and stuff. But it's a small alumni. They do not have a big following on TV, except for when they're doing good. They don't fill their stadium up unless they're playing somebody great. And I hate to say this, but when you sit down and all the commissioners are sitting there figuring you got to start cutting 75 schools out of this pot, where's that going to leave a bunch of people? You got Boston College. I didn't hear anybody talk about Boston College. They got a pretty big following up in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Syracuse. You're going to leave out Virginia Tech, Virginia.
Yep.
Some of those. I mean,
now when we say we're going to leave them out, but they're going to be playing football and basketball and baseball, just a lower level.
They're going to be playing football, but they're going to be playing in a lower level.
Right. Like the Big 12 is going to be now in the future. Yeah.
So then they're going to be in a lower level. So therefore, they're going to have less money, and then you're going to start dying. They're eventually going to start dying off because you're going to take their money away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be able to support all their other programs, their baseball, their swim, their soccer, softball, lacrosse, all that other stuff. So you and I talked about this over a year ago, that all this was going to be the death of college football. And
As we know it. Yeah.
Right. So now we're shaking everything up. A while ago you said, well, we've got the conference championship. There won't be no more conference championship games.
No.
So you can – what's Atlanta's going to have to scramble around now and start setting up and having some of these other schools and other teams come in to play. They're early in the year, their kickoff classics and all that sort of stuff. But you're going to eliminate, you're not going to have the SEC championship game in Atlanta anymore.
Right.
And that's how many millions of dollars that's going to go away from that city.
Rob, let me tell you real quick. There's one. I won't tell you how or what I heard, but I will say this: Miami is in good shape. Miami's going to be in the SEC.
Well,
I agree with everything you said.
I got that. And Miami, Florida, and I hate to say this, years ago when Florida and FSU started talking about not playing each other, they're both university schools, and the legislature said, "Y'all will play each other, or we'll cut you off."
State schools.
Right. So it's it's a lot to go over. And this would be something to kind of everybody think about. Write down and get a list of all your schools, and next Friday, if y'all are going to work next Friday, have your list and come up with a written down list of who you think is going to make and who you think is going to be left out. Because the ones that get left out,
you're out.
Won't be around 10 years.
Yeah.
For now.
Rob, thank you so much for calling, buddy.
Okay, guys.
We got a break. Have a great 4th of July.
Be safe.
Thanks,
man.
Hey, buddy. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir. All right, let's talk about some of our great people. Who have I left out today? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Dr. Chad Mitchell, his birthday was the other day. Dr. Chad, I think he turned 40.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, he looked good. Man, he is looking really good.
Where are you on, Doc?
The legendary Dr. Chad Mitchell. If you have any type of injury, go see Chad. Been taking care of athletes now for over 22 years. Bay Point. Oh, I know who we haven't talked about. They go hand in hand with Bay Point Golf. If you got Rudy's Barbecue in Bat Beach Road, you want somebody to cater something? Ethan Boyd does an incredible job. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about Ethan when we get back when we do our Alabama update. We'll be right back. Alabama Crimson Tide on deck. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is the Panhandle's destination for the Atlanta Braves.
Got him swinging strike three.
Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves are back.
Unbelievable.
And hungry for more. Listen to the world champion Atlanta Braves on a world champion radio station.
Rosario knocked the living daylights out of it.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Friday morning. My forecast is calling for a blend of sun and clouds today, spotty showers and thunderstorms, and the temperatures will range from about 85 to 92. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Showers and thunderstorms overnight and showers and thunderstorms over the holiday weekend. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Swampy Jack here. I've traveled the world for decades and brought my most exciting adventures to Panama City Beach. Encounter the 25-foot-tall Swamp Ape. This indoor scrambler ride is synchronized for a multimedia experience like you've never felt. Put the pedal to the metal, racing around the Marrakesh track in electric go-kart. Supercharge your kart with special power-ups for extra speed or to sabotage opponents. And if you're hungry, grab a meal at Swampy's Cantina or enjoy an ice-cold beer. This and more at Swampy Jack's.
United by sports. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DN Mariana. Powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida.
That Boot Store invites you to stop by and help celebrate the opportunity to live in the greatest country on God's green earth, the good old USA. That Boot Store is proud to carry the highest quality American-made boots, along with a complete line of Western accessories. Next to Billboard Kia on 15th Street, open Tuesday through Thursday 9 till 5, Friday and Saturday 9 to 5:30. And remember what Joe always says, put Jesus in your life every day.
Put down your natural light. It's time for the Alabama Update. The Alabama Update, weekday mornings at 8. On the Coach James Hale Show at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And roll. Everybody together. Roll. Roll. Tide. Roll. Alabama Crimson Tide update brought by, who's it brought to you? Oh, Stevenson Air Conditioning. If you want to feel better summer, spring, winter, or fall, it's Stevenson Air Conditioning. They do an incredible job. Any problems out there, day or night, call Stevenson Air Conditioning. They will solve all issues quickly. Stevenson Air Conditioning, number one. Love you, Jason. Great job you guys do. All right. Ethan Boyd sent me, the first one that saw me, sent it to me. And you mentioned a minute ago, Jason, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher. Feinbaum's even doing a book about it. The feud between Saban, Fisher. He's also going to have Kirby Smart in there. What, how they all work together and everything else. All he's going to do is make big money for Feinbaum. He knows it, and Yellow Dog knows it. He's going to do pretty good. All right. Ethan sent me the picture, and you talked about earlier the big feud. We don't pay players. We didn't use NIL. That he threw my 18-year-old players under the bus, their families under the bus. We had our coaches worked their tail off. We got the best recruiting class we've ever had because we worked extremely hard. We have so much to offer here at Texas A&M. NIL, I don't know if any of them got any NIL.
Fast forward.
and then the proof is out there. If you haven't seen it yet, it's out there on Facebook, everything else. A&M assistant coach. How many? Probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's a group of
players out there in the stadium.
Touring the stadium.
Yeah. What he looks up at the suites and goes, "Those guys that sit up there, you come here." What did he say?
He says that we're going to pay you a lot of money.
They're going to play.
They're going to pay you. So the guys behind these suites right here are going to pay you a lot of money to play here.
And that's Jimbo Fisher's assistant coach.
But see, Jimbo didn't really say it, so it didn't happen. So
what do you got to listen to the words.
He got caught in a lie.
No,
Jimbo
didn't do it.
Yeah, that's what
coaches.
I'm saying.
Yeah, Jim's right.
Plausible deniability, man. Politics.
Yeah.
But I didn't say it.
Jimbo's lie was, we don't pay players at Texas A&M, and their recruiting pitch was, we're going to pay you at Texas A&M.
Yeah. So anyway, all the feud and all the fuss, and how do you think he's going to treat that coach when he sees him?
I don't think Jimbo cares.
Make a Will Smith up on him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To me,
that's what I was thinking, Will Smith.
Especially at the end at Florida, I don't think Jimbo cares. Like, he says so much erratic stuff that's untrue at times just to, save face. And the main thing was, NIL's not illegal. You weren't doing anything illegal. And you came out here and got in a public feud with Nick Saban, the best coach in college football, over a lie.
I'm with you. Why did he not just say, we did a great job. We have an NIL set up in our school that's very, productive for our recruits. And we went by the law, by the letter of the law, and we had a great year recruiting. That's all he had to say. But it was back. It had to be some bad blood when they were working together at LSU, because he never went back and worked with him again after that. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But he handled it wrong. But then again, let's be honest. In the past, Nick never gets caught in situations like that. He's usually really good. But it was late at night. It was it was the richest people in the state there, Bama guys.
Yeah.
So he was selling his group what we need to do to step up to the plate.
Well, technically, what they did on that visit was illegal. I mean, you're not supposed to use NIL in your recruiting pitch. The school's not allowed to facilitate that or be able to use that to bring kids in the fold. The whole deal with NIL was kids were needing to be able to make money while they were on campus. Before, you couldn't make any money no matter what. You couldn't have a job. You couldn't use your name for, profiting.
Okay, but I want to take up for the coach. Did he say anything? Did he lie? He told the kids the truth.
That time, he lied on
the
national
assistant
TV.
coach. I'm talking the assistant coach there.
Absolutely.
He said the truth. He said, these guys up in these suites are going to pay you a lot of money if you come play here.
And I will say this, 100 out of 100, I'll say this, 99 out of 100 schools are making the exact same pitch on a college campus today. The only one is Michigan, oddly, because Jim Harbaugh's out there pounding the table. We're not going to pay players to come here.
He just lost his best player.
You don't have any players coming there. So.
And the 5-star linebacker he just lost.
Go to Ohio State and drive a Bentley.
Right.
Yeah.
Like C.J. Stroud.
Another thing I was going to get into today, but I'm going to hold off and do it later. We're looking at all the different rooms. That's what the article's about. The quarterback room, I think Ohio State and Alabama were way up there. Receiver room, it was Ohio State. And they had the 5 best, all these different magazines. I was going to get into some of that today, but since everything else has gone crazy, what's going on in college football, I do believe Bama's the path to winning that, even for Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. That's been the last 3 teams that won it. Clemson. It's going to be so much difficult for them to win a national championship back-to-back or multiple national championships within a 5-year period, because this now that we're going to go to a structure like the NFL, you're going to have to play every week. I think it's going to be playing SEC schools.
Right.
The Big Ten's been doing it anyway, more or less, playing 9 teams every year. We've been playing 8, which gave us an advantage. We did have an advantage. I'll admit we had an advantage.
Yeah.
It's just one less opportunity to lose. You schedule a weak opponent.
Especially later in the season when you're going maybe right before that Auburn game, you're playing Jacksonville State.
And let's be honest about it. We brag about Georgia, Alabama, LSU, going to schedule a tough neutral site game week 1. But you go back and really analyze it, we were better than most of those teams we signed up to play, And that's what shocked me last year, you guys losing to Oregon.
Right.
That's when I thought, I don't know about Dave being a head coach because how can he have that same coordinator there that was coordinator the year before? That just blew my mind.
Right.
But they've corrected that. I still have I don't know about him. I know Urban was the elite. I'm not sure he's elite. We'll see.
Still,
I could win at Ohio State. That's the guy's truth. I could win at Ohio State.
Most people could.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, not as much as you, but
most.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah. Well,
they've had one losing
Glenn would have a hard time. I think Glenn would have a hard time.
Yeah.
Coach Manley, I think. Anyway.
Herb Woods won nine games a year for 9 years and got
fired
canned.
him. Yeah, fired him. But anyway, I think it's gonna be tough for Bama and Saban when you're playing week in, week out. LSU, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and then we throw in Clemson if they come in, Florida State, Miami, if they're all in there. It's just going to be hard to go through it, which is good, though, that the playoff, what I really like about it, if we do what they do, the wild card. Even if Bama had a bad year and loses 2 SEC games, they play tough against Texas and lose. They get beat by Florida State and Tallahassee, something like that. They could still get the playoffs as a wild card. And I brought it up earlier. Ohio State, at the end of the year, when they decided to play football, the second half of the Rose Bowl, you saw what Ohio State could have been. They looked like crap against Oregon. They looked against Michigan. It didn't even look like the same team I'd been watching. So they still had all that talent. They just didn't play very well. So you could have a bad year. If you get in the wild card, now how many wild card teams usually win a Super Bowl? Not very many.
Not very many.
But there's a chance.
Right.
There's a chance.
So I can live with what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have some form of wild cards. You're going to have more than 4 teams in.
Right.
Because just what you're talking about, if you're really going to play that schedule with all those teams and you can't play the cupcakes anymore, you're going to lose 1 or 2. It's going to happen.
And you're going to lose players. You're going to lose players, too.
That's reality. So you're just going to lose. Let's use Ohio State as an example. You're going to leave them out when they're 10-2 or 11-2. When let's say they lost to, I don't know, whoever, USC and
Wisconsin or something.
Right.
So you're going to leave them out because they got 2 losses, or an Alabama, or whoever.
The problem is, right
you're
now,
going to have
You
more
got to
than
have
4.
there's no doubt.
Depending on what conference you're in, you probably play 4 to 6 really tough games. I mean, SEC plays more. I think Big Ten, I would say 3 or 4 games that are really tough. But there's 6 or 7 games on that schedule that there's 0 chance you're going to lose those games. You could go in, you could probably rest your starters a little bit, maybe play them for a half. That goes away. I mean, if you're playing North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State, then you got to go Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Auburn. There's no cupcakes. There's no downtime. You're going to have to bring your A game every week, and that's why I think there's the undefeated seasons.
I got friends get mad at me that are ACC friends, and we were close, but they get mad when I brag on the Big Ten's conference over the ACC, and I'm going like, wait a minute, you go into Happy Valley. You go play in front of 107,000 crazy people and win there.
Auburn found out last year.
Yeah. Then you go Wisconsin. You go play them at Wisconsin and beat them. Okay, and that's not even y'all's best team. And got to give even Michigan. Go play Michigan at Michigan, and go play Ohio State. Ohio State.
Go play that whiteout game in Penn State.
Yeah, there's some good teams in the Big Ten.
Go play at Iowa.
And honest to God, every once in a while, Minnesota. It's not easy to go into Minnesota either. I mean, that top to bottom, that's the better conference. It just is.
I think people don't underestimate the physicality of the Big Ten, and they think, oh my God, they run 2 tight ends, they run an I formation offense.
They're physical, they hit
until you get into that game. Remember LSU went up into Lambeau Field and played Wisconsin that year with all that talent, and Wisconsin grinded them out to like a 16-7 win or something like that. So it's a totally different ball game up there. They're built differently, and if you're not built offensively, defensive lines, physical, you're going to have to struggle a little bit.
If Florida State was back being Florida State, Miami was back being Miami, and then with Clemson being Clemson, then I'd get in North Carolina good, Pitt being good like they were this year. Then I'd be going. Then I say, okay, then I'd be going, okay. But that's not been the case lately.
No, and Florida State, Miami being down really hurts the ACC.
All right, Alabama Update's been brought to you by Stevenson Air Conditioning. Appreciate them. We get back, Ryan Movey, everything you ever wanted to know. He's got a huge update on Auburn. I cannot wait to hear it.
We're just going to continue this conversation.
I got time to go a couple more? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about J. Michael's Restaurant. We all know today Chris Fish is outstanding. Go try it. It's grilled fish, peppers and onions. Unbelievable. Try it. You'll love it. American Charlie, first responder discount every single day. Happy hour. You order what you want, you get a discount on it. They do a great job in the fried catfish today. It's amazing how much food they give you. Go try it. You'll love it. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill. Matter of fact, we might go there today at 4. 4 to 7, baby. You going, Ryan?
Sure. Margaritas.
Yeah.
2 for 1.
You don't have a game? No game today?
Nah, game yesterday.
Good. We'll go celebrate. We got to get into that. We got to brag on those kids today, too. Go try it. You'll love it. Dave and those guys do a great job down there. It's right across from the Navy base. And we'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Dan Patrick Show.
You run that risk. It's the risk and reward of talent and then with headaches, with baggage. And Kyrie is just not worth it. I'd love to franchise tag him. Just say, why don't you earn something here for a change? Right? You want a long-term deal? Show me something. Let's be consistent. Let's play.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Friday morning. My forecast is calling for a blend of sun and clouds today. Spotty showers and thunderstorms, and the temperatures will range from about 85 to 92. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Showers and thunderstorms overnight and showers and thunderstorms over the holiday weekend. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right, just north of Southport Elementary School.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Tiger fans, join us weekday mornings at 8:15. It's the Bay Point Golf Auburn Update on the Coach James Hale Show at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
War Eagle. Hey, Martha, Kenny, James Gualamar, Jimmy Atwell. We got so many great Auburn people down here. Sean Hale, my nephew, biggest Auburn guy, and his brother went to Alabama. Matt, crazy, weird family, the Hale family. Ryan Movey, great family, nothing weird about him. Superstar family, unbelievable, great players, great daughter, son. But the Auburn Tiger Update is brought to you by Bay Point Golf. Ryan, talk a little bit about Bay Point. Let's give you a little time on Bay Point.
Well, speaking of Bay Point, the Best of Bay voting starts today, runs through July 18th.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think you were nominated or something like that, but this is the Bay Point Golf Auburn Update.
Yeah, he wants people to vote for him, not you.
Yes.
All right, be
So,
quiet.
Get the damn golf.
Get out. It's on our Facebook page. The link is out there. Make sure you vote. Both. There's 2 categories we're in this year. It's the first time they've ever added a golf shop category. So vote us for Best of Bay for golf course and golf shop category. We've won. We're trying to make it 7 years in a row on the golf course side. So we can't do that without you. So please vote for us. And I've got to also plug my wife. She's up for Best of Bay Realtor again. She won last year. She's nominated again. So please vote for her as well.
Her name is Beth. She's absolutely a gorgeous inside and out. So she got my vote. I'll tell you what, she does an incredible job, and she works for Steve Counts, one of my buddies. I love Steve. Wonderful man. Big FSU.
Add in a bingo and trivia category.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't
exactly.
think about that.
Oh, yeah, there is probably a bingo category,
I
but we
bet
haven't
there
done
is.
one yet since the voting came out. But yeah, there is a bingo. You always have to vote for the best bingo because there's multiple.
Best
ones
bingo,
here.
best trivia, best cloth.
They got great cloth down there. I'll tell you that right
That's
there.
a James Hale term.
I love their
That is a
cloth
James
down
Hale
there.
term. Nobody else comes into the golf shop and says, "What kind of cloth y'all have?"
What?
Material.
There's a bolt of cloth right back there.
Yeah.
You can design a dress. huh?
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, other than everything else we're talking about, the Auburn world, there's not a whole lot going on. Obviously, getting ready to get the season kicked off here. One of their QB targets had that big 11 on 11 was going on. One of their targets had a great showing in the 11 on 11. So, positive news there for Auburn. So, but other than that, not a whole lot going on. Let me ask you this: does Auburn stay in the Super Conference?
Oh, absolutely. You kidding me?
What's the difference between Auburn and Florida State? Other than the Auburn being in the SEC.
Auburn's already in the SEC. Auburn, look at the amount of money they bring in.
Yeah. So if you're already in one of the conferences, you're in.
But the thing about it, I do remember FSU beat Auburn for the national championship in the BCS. I do remember that.
Terrible drive on that last step of Auburn's offense. Got completely away from what they were doing. But that's
I wanted to ask you about this, Coach Harrison. I saw a couple things. I really didn't even report on it because it was negative. It was a coach. They don't have to give their name or anything. They interview him and they think he's going to have a really hard time keeping his job, being there year 2, and all that kind of stuff. Every time, I've said it again, every time we think Auburn's not going to do well, they surprise you. They have their first team guys can play. It's how healthy they can stay.
Their depth's a big concern.
Yeah, and we always said I'll say it every day. The key game to them this year is Penn State. If they can beat Penn State,
I think they got a chance. Their home schedule, 5 home games in a row, I do believe. They can win those 5 and then split the rest. I think he'll be back. If not, I think I think if he doesn't, the AD has to fire him or they're both gone. But I'm just hoping good things will happen. Now, the thing about Auburn, I don't know if you saw this. We have so many people ranking these stuff, but this is SEC's strength of schedule. The number 1 toughest schedule in the SEC is the Auburn Tigers. You're at Alabama.
Yep.
You're at Georgia.
And your crossover game's always Georgia. So
and you're at Ole Miss. 3 away games right there. They're gonna have a hard time winning all 3 of those games. They have a hard time winning one of those games.
Yeah. Period. Yeah.
And then at home, you got your usual tough games, and you add Penn State. So Auburn's schedule is the toughest schedule in the country. What do you think?
It always is, and that's where it's always going to be the most challenging for Auburn to have success. Not only just from the recruiting aspect, who you're competing against, but from your schedule aspect. Now, switching to a super conference may actually benefit Auburn in the future because all the other teams are playing arguably a just as difficult schedule at that point. So when you guys were just talking on the last segment, you're gonna have losses. It's gonna happen. So maybe that actually benefits a team like Auburn, where they're always playing one of the toughest schedules in the country. Now it's being a little bit more equally distributed in that super conference, making everybody's schedules a little bit tougher.
And really, we've been talking about ACC's 3-5-5. A lot of talk was that the SEC would have probably 3 permanent teams also. If they did that, you would have Auburn keeping Alabama, keeping Georgia, and maybe picking the other one that used to be a really big game was Florida.
Yeah.
Which would even make it. Yeah, you're talking about a crazy schedule. They used to play them every single year back, the end of the year, Ames Corner, which would be very difficult. But now that we got the Super League coming up, we don't know who's going to be playing who.
Exactly.
It's going to be such a big conference, but the schedule's going to be brutal regardless.
It's brutal.
But the money they make in. But I want to go back to Auburn. You look at Auburn. You said, why would Auburn be in there? Let me tell you why Auburn would be in there. They're better than Alabama in basketball. They're better than Alabama in baseball. The only thing, and they took Alabama to how many overtimes?
Yeah.
So Auburn will be in there. Auburn's in good shape right there. I want to go back to the strength of schedule at SEC. Coming in second, is it okay if I do this?
Yeah.
Coming second was Vandy. It doesn't matter who they got on the schedule. I'd have put them first.
Everybody's always better than them, so it's always going to be tough.
Exactly. Number 3 was Arkansas. Don't forget now, look, they've got Cincinnati. They got BYU. That's the non-conference games. Then you got LSU, Alabama, their usual. Number 4 was Tennessee. They got to play at Pitt. They got their crossover game this year is LSU. They always got Georgia. They got Alabama as a big rival, so that's pretty dang tough.
Yeah.
Mississippi State came in 5th. I got the Big Ten. I got a lot on the Big Ten I want to get into today. 5th was Mississippi State. They got Memphis. They're at Arizona. And, of course, the usual SEC West. Next was LSU. They opened up with Florida State. They're at Auburn. They got Texas A&M, the usual. Then Florida Gators was 7th. They're at Utah at home. They got Kentucky home. They're at Tennessee. Texas A&M, Georgia, Florida State. So their schedule's tough every year. Everybody in the SEC is brutal. Number 8, Texas A&M. They got a tough one now. Appalachian State. They got Miami at home, at Alabama, and I think they play Florida. Number 9. This got to be wrong. Number 9, Alabama. Alabama should be way up there.
Cupcakes.
Alabama's got Texas A&M at home. They're at Texas. They got at Ole Miss, and they got a tough one now.
Please don't let Texas beat y'all.
Austin Peay has improved so much with the transfer portable. They've knocked out a ballpark. They're way up there in transfers, so watch out, Austin Peay, Bama. Next was South Carolina. They got Arkansas, Georgia, Clemson. 11th was Georgia's got the best path of any of the Big Four. Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson. Georgia's got the easiest path, I think. They got Oregon, brand new coach, home game in Atlanta. Then they got Mississippi State as a crossover game.
Ugh.
And they end the season with Georgia Tech. So Georgia's in really good shape.
Good job, Kirby.
Yeah. Number 12, Kentucky. They got Louisville at home, Georgia, South Carolina, whatever. Missouri was 13th. They got they're at Kansas State. They got Auburn as a crossover game, and they've got Arkansas. And the easiest schedule, according to this, I think it was Saturdays Down South,
was Ole Miss. They got Georgia Tech as the biggest cross non-conference game. They got Alabama at home, and they get Vandy as a crossover game. So Ole Miss is in pretty good shape. Injuries, we always talk about injuries play a role. Your schedule plays a big role in this. Clemson's got Florida State, Miami, I do believe. I got to go back and look at their schedule. As a matter of fact, I had the SEC, I had all the conferences. I haven't had a chance to do them yet. I got them somewhere in this book. Here it is. Clemson's got FSU, Jordan. Never mind. That's the future conference thing. I think you had that too. But how much time I got? 4 minutes. Hell, I ain't got much more to talk about. Can we take a break and come back and regroup? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
We're just along for the ride.
Jason, what do you think? Ohio State, who do you believe has the easier path this year? In all the polls, you got either Alabama or Ohio State's number one or two. Then you got Georgia, and most of them got Clemson in there. I'm not sure about Clemson, though. I don't know if that's right or not.
Their quarterback situation last year was terrible. I mean,
defensively they're going to be good.
Yeah. Defensively they'll be good. I mean, I don't know if they have the offensive weapons again this year. 2 years ago when they played Ohio State, they just didn't have the receivers to, threaten Ohio State deep, and we just physically dominated them. So I got to see a lot of turnaround for me to believe Clemson. But I think Ohio State has the easiest path. I think the Big Ten is the easiest of the conferences. Notre Dame, to me, doesn't scare me. If Ohio State plays like they should with the talent they have, they should beat Notre Dame by 2 touchdowns. And I really don't see a game on that schedule, especially with the Michigan, payback that's coming, that I see them losing a game this year, especially with that offense, assuming that the defense is better. I mean, last year they had all this talent and their defense was a train wreck. I mean, they couldn't get lined up. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't do anything. They had to score 40 points a game to win. So, but I still think they have the best offense in the country. I think they do get that defense fixed. And I think that even though they have a good schedule, I think they have the easiest path.
All right, we get back. Some of these experts in Big Ten, they might disagree with you. We got to rank the toughest schedules in the Big Ten. We'll go over that when we get back. Let's talk about some of our great people. Blue Sky Express Car Wash. You want your vehicle to look brand new. I can't afford a Jeep like Jason Kovaleski has. I can't afford the
I see your 4Runner.
Ryan Mulvey's vehicle.
Your new 4Runner.
Right.
Yeah, that Infinity that you have is incredible.
Yeah, it's 8 years old.
Yeah, Jim's got a dang Mercedes out there. I can't believe. But if you want it all to look brand new,
guys,
if you want it all to look brand new, go take it to Blue Sky Express Car Wash. Now, how did they? You went down there and you took that Harley in there. How did you do that? I mean, I couldn't believe you did
very
that.
quickly.
Yeah, I was like.
He wore a wetsuit on the way.
Yeah, he did it. I was like, why did you do that? But anyway, it looked pretty good.
I'm lazy, that's why.
Get out to Newbies. John and Charlotte do such a wonderful job. The mothership, the best bands in the Southeast, every Friday and Saturday night. Newbies 2 on the Curve, the place to watch all sporting events. Don't be reckless with your skin. Put sunscreen on. Wear shirts. I mean, take care of yourself, man. That's deadly. It can be deadly. 1 in 4 develop it. 1 in 5 develop skin cancer. Go see Dr. Ward if you have anything that doesn't feel right or look right. And just get checked up about every 6 months. We'll be right back. 104.3 Big Ten football when we get back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your attention, please.
ESPN Northwest Florida reminds you it's the law. It's the law. When there's a double red flag, stay out of the water, stick your toes in the sand, grab a cold drink, and listen to live sports.
Swung on, miss, strike 3.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Double play!
Hear that? That's the plumpest, juiciest hot dogs you've ever seen getting their grill on. But we both know what'll make it sound even better. Oh yeah, it's a Pepsi to go with your hot dog. Because when you're chomping on America's favorite meal, relish, mustard, and onions perfectly blending into a crescendo of flavor, there's only one thing that makes everything about that moment better. A cold, refreshing Pepsi. See what I mean? It's like music to my ears. Hot dogs. Better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The brand new Burger King at Weewa is looking for managers and team members. You'll get to use your smile and personality and get paid for it. You'll be responsible for getting guests excited about their experience every day at Burger King. You'll get to work in a safe, productive environment that allows employees to thrive and advance with career opportunities. Burger King promotes from within. They offer training and development, flexible schedules, employee meal discounts, and scholarship opportunities. Burger King is an equal opportunity employer. Interested job seekers should text 007-8075 to 31063 to apply. Must be at least 16 years of age.
Do you know who I am?
If he was the last person on Earth,
I'm kind of a big deal.
mankind would still have a chance.
We may have to repopulate the Earth.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm very important.
Live from the J. Michael Studio at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Next week, we're out. 4th of July week, we have a tradition here. We're off. All the sponsors are out partying, have a good time the entire
That's
week.
why you're out. That's why you're so excited today.
Dang right, man. I got a rest coming up. Hey, go ahead. We hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. A lot of great things are going on. Take advantage of everything that's going on around
Check
here.
out our van in the parade.
Oh, yeah.
The ESPN van making its debut.
Have a great time. I want to get this in a couple things before we get into the Big Ten. The Supreme Court, I don't know if you kept up with that football coach who was fired. He wants his job back. Went to the Supreme Court. Prayers is allowed at public school events. Schools cannot stop players or coaches and personnel from praying at sporting events, which I think is a home run. Thank God for the Supreme Court.
I don't see what it was hurting to begin with.
No. Well,
exactly.
If you don't want to join in, you don't have to join in.
He didn't ask anyone to join
No,
in.
he did. He was actually doing it by himself for the first couple weeks, and then people started joining in.
There's so
him.
much evil in the world right now. I've never seen it like this. It is right now. And
It's
they're coming
crazy.
after me. They're attacking us every
There's
angle.
a spiritual war going on.
There really and truly is. It's crazy. I really worried about our country every day. My grandkids. Anyway, I'll get off that. Ole Miss. Here you go about evil. Okay, how can this happen?
Lane.
Ole Miss. No, I'm not even cutting them down. This is Ole Miss. A football player was shot in Omaha, following the Rebels' World Championship baseball victory.
Oh.
Early hours of Monday, I guess it was Monday, an Ole Miss football player walking the streets of Omaha back to his hotel after the baseball game was shot while he was celebrating the victory over Oklahoma. Andrew Burnett, wide receiver, was shot from a pickup truck, a dark-colored pickup truck. What color is your truck, Jim?
Well, me.
Okay. It had an extended cab, but it was a dark-colored pickup truck. They were walking, going back to the hotel, just having a good old time, just celebrating. But authorities there said they just thought it was a random shooting. It was just a drive-by shooting, just random. It wasn't because it was not because it was an Ole Miss guy celebrating. This football
What was
player.
he wearing?
Oh, he has Ole Miss stuff on. He was proud, baby. He was. They don't know what they are: rebels, bears, land shark. They don't know. They don't know what the hell they are. But I know one thing they are. They're good in baseball.
Yeah.
And pretty good in football.
During the tournament, at least.
Yeah. But anyway, you kind of wonder, why didn't you hear more about it? And with Jim, we got a call one time about walk-ons. He was a walk-on.
Oh, is
if
that
he'd have
right?
been a scholarship player, there'd have been more more big thing
I
about it.
want to hear more about the circumstances surrounding that. It seems really odd. You're just walking down the street. Hey, pull up. Bam, bam.
Maybe he was celebrating to the extreme.
Maybe celebrate with that guy's girlfriend or something.
All right, let's get into Big Ten. This is the Big Ten strength of schedule, the toughest schedule in the Big Ten this year. Maryland. They were 7-6 in 2021. They're excited. They got the quarterback. They think they're going to be really good on offense.
Little Tula.
Is it still? Yeah, Tulio.
Yeah, little
Tula. Yeah.
Tula.
But they're at Michigan. They got Michigan State at home. They're at Penn State. They're at Wisconsin. They got Ohio State at home.
good luck. I don't know if they win any of those games.
Oh, man, they can score, so,
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking about the Big Ten. We've got to even mention Michigan State.
No, and you talking about recruiting, somebody
He's
that's
knocking
nailed
the
it in
ballpark
recruiting
right now.
I think Michigan State averages 3 to 4 4-stars a year. They got 9 4-stars already in that class.
Well, he learned from the best,
Oh,
Saban
absolutely.
and Kirby. So
I mean, he's making Michigan State a solid team, and that makes the Big Ten better.
Yeah.
They need teams like Michigan State.
I love their fans. We were at the Cotton Bowl in the playoffs when they played Alabama. They were great.
Yeah.
They advertise it's kind of the headquarters, the SEC,
Right.
Big Ten. We get there, it's all Michigan State people. I was, oh my God! Everywhere you look, the bars, the restaurant, but they were great. They came up and I really was impressed with those guys.
The only fans we hate in the Big Ten are Penn State fans. So.
Well, here's your second. So they don't agree with you now. This is the second toughest schedule in the Big Ten. The Ohio State Buckeyes. They open up with Notre Dame at home. That's a pretty big opponent.
Yep.
One. They're home Wisconsin. They're home with Iowa. Another very good program. Michigan State, they're away. Penn State is away.
But it's not a night-out game this year, I don't believe.
And Michigan's home. So that's pretty good. Now, I had to write this down, who their non-conference was. Thank you, Jim Brandt. Toledo, okay. Arkansas State. But, Bush Jones got to Arkansas State.
Toledo made a bowl game last year. Okay.
Toledo.
They would beat
Toledo.
They would beat the pants off Austin P.
But you got to start with Notre Dame as the first out of conference.
Yeah.
Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Michigan.
I agree. They got
Come
a
on
tough
now.
schedule. That's the reason. What I've been saying, I think Alabama and Ohio State had a harder path than Clemson or in Georgia. I think it's tougher than Georgia's. That's just me.
Everybody's tougher than Georgia.
I don't know. When you get in the meat of the SEC schedule for Georgia, they're going to play probably more tougher teams than Ohio State.
This year sets up pretty good for them. Tennessee,
They play Auburn,
Kentucky, Florida is the East. I think they're in pretty good shape. New coach at Florida.
Maybe.
Tennessee's going to be better. Anyway, I'll take it. If you want to give it to me, I'll take it. All right, the third toughest conference game in the Big Ten team is Rutgers. It doesn't matter who Rutgers plays.
Right.
They're like Vandy.
Here's the thing about this strength of schedule. Two of the top 3 teams in the Big Ten are awful. Of course, their schedule is going to be tough because they can't play.
Yeah. It's like Vandy,
Maryland,
Indiana,
and Rutgers.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
like Vanderbilt in the SEC.
Yeah. And number four for the Big Ten, Northwestern. I didn't even write down who they're playing because it doesn't matter.
Right.
Number 5, Indiana. Now, Indiana was playing pretty good football a couple of years ago. Indiana's number 5. Number 6, and I do like their coach, and I think he'll get that thing in the right direction, Illinois. Number 7, Penn State.
The S is still style.
Penn State, they got Auburn away. They got Ohio State, Central Michigan at home. They got Michigan State, and Ohio State. Oh, I just did that. They were at home. Okay. Number 8 was Michigan State. They've got, I didn't know that. They're at Washington. They got Minnesota at home. They got Maryland away. They got Ohio State and Wisconsin. I think, where do they play them? I think at home.
I'm not sure.
I didn't write it down. And then at number 9, the toughest schedule in the Big Ten is Iowa. And number 10 was Nebraska. Nebraska's got Oklahoma as a non-conference.
This is a huge year for Scott Frost because I thought he was fired after last year. And they were probably the best 3-8 team in the history of the NCAA. They lost every game by less than 7 points, including the Ohio State game. Well, I think they lost by 9 to Ohio State, but they were in every game and could legitimately won every game last year. This is a big year for him. If he doesn't win 7-8 games, he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's won 15 games in 5 years in Nebraska.
Yeah. Well, Lincoln
He's
Riley.
had one winning season as a coach, as a head coach.
Lincoln Riley, congratulations. You're now coming to Big Ten. You missed the SEC.
We're going to find out if he can build a defense.
We're going to find out if he's a coach.
Right.
Listen, Lincoln Riley took over a gold mine.
Absolutely.
Stoops could coach. You're talking Oklahoma, a blue blood.
Traditional.
You've got more players than anybody they play. That thing was set up. He was 55-10 or something like that. He was set up for that. He's going to go to Southern Cal. The first 2 years are going to be great.
Yeah.
When he goes in the Big Ten, we're going to find out all we need to know about him.
Yeah, and the physicality is where he's lacking.
Yeah. All right, Nebraska. They got Oklahoma as a non-conference game. They got North Dakota as a non-conference game. They got Georgia Southern. They need to win all 3 of those games. I'm not sure they can beat Oklahoma. They're at Michigan. I'm with you. I think he's going to get fired.
That's the game I was kind of circling with the intro about Nebraska being a big year. If they can beat Oklahoma and propel them into the Big Ten schedule, then they should be a contender this year.
I think he's gone.
I do too.
He can't win.
It's going to go either way.
Yeah, I don't think.
If they lose that game, then he's gone.
Yeah. It's just not been. I don't care who the head coach is in Nebraska. They have had a hard time in the Big Ten.
Go hire Urban Meyer. I'm telling
12.
you right now, Urban Meyer can go to any college in the country and recruit and be shady, and the media will hate him. He'll rub everybody the wrong way, but he'll put you in the playoffs at least once or twice.
Coming in 11th was Purdue. Coming in 12th was Wisconsin. They got Illinois State, Washington State, New Mexico State, non-conference, and they got the Big Ten. Now, New Mexico State, we're talking about when they start this Super League, this is a team they're going to hurt financially. They play, I got to give them credit. They're trying to make money. They play SEC schools. They play Big Ten schools. They get paid big money. That's probably going to stop in the future.
Right.
That's why I feel bad for them. All right, 13th, Michigan's at the 13th. They got the easy schedule.
They need it.
Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn, non-conference.
Woof.
UConn, man. Huskies.
That's who they recruit against, so
they're
should be a big game for them.
They're at Ohio State, too, this year.
Trust me, we circled that game in big red marker. It's
everybody in the country does.
Well,
I
mean,
I don't think it's going to end well for the Wolverines.
Not this year.
And the easiest schedule from the Big Ten.
Row that boat.
Minnesota, row the boat, yeah. They got New Mexico State. There they go, another Big Ten team, New Mexico State. They got Western Illinois, and they got Colorado at home.
I will say this. Just below the surface, there's a lot of issues going on at Minnesota. There are a lot of players that come out and talked about him. There's a lot of people in the Minnesota area that don't really like P.J. Fleck. I think he's a great coach. Personality-wise, there's some things going on that are really not good, and that thing could blow up here in the next 2-3 years. I mean, you got 2 former players out there blasting him on Twitter already, saying he's fake and that he lied to them and all this other stuff. So watch that situation. That's not going to be a good situation here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he was rolling that boat the wrong way. Everybody else going one way, he was going the other.
I just have one guy I trust more than anything as far as a source in college football, and he cannot stand the guy. He says he's a phony. And when he said that, now that I see these players come out and talk about him and some of these families, it just makes me believe there's some issues going on there that we're probably going to see in the next couple of years come to the surface.
All right, Jason, let's talk more about Max Fit Sports Nutrition, where it's located, what you do something different than most people do. I got a Bay Point. I want to try playing. I got to pay. I want to try the food. They make me pay. I want to try the clothes on. He won't let me anymore. So you guys do something different. You can try it before you buy it.
Well, we believe in our products. It helps us get better products. You know, when the customer can come in, try something, and give us feedback, then we're able to get, better products in. So we have a sample bar in store for proteins, pre-workouts, amino acids. So you can come in, grab a free sample, take it to the gym, work out on it, use it, and then you see how you like it. Taste and all this other stuff. Consistency is a big point of buying supplements. So we kind of take the guesswork out of you. We want you. Yeah, we got plenty of stuff. We got weight loss products. We got test boosters. We got muscle builders. The Turkestrone, Ectostrone have been flying off the shelves. I mean, they don't suppress hormones. You're able to use it, as a younger guy. Some of these high school kids are able to use it. We do have creatine in stock. I know there's a creatine shortage in the world, and there's GNCs and stuff have been running out, but we have plenty of creatine. But we have everything you need to build muscle, drop body fat, become a better athlete, and just get in better shape overall. So we are located in Pier Park North next to Dick's Sporting Goods, and we have local military first responder discounts daily. We have, gym apparel, which there's not a lot of places around here that carry gym equipment, gloves, belts, wrist straps. I mean, we have all that. We have Versa grips.
I want that one American flag shirt you got.
Yeah, we got 4th of July. We're going to have a sale. We're going to have 20% off the entire store. We do have 4th of July shirts that we're going to give away with $50 purchases. So all this is good. Just come see us at Max.
You ever see the movie Vacation? When they go visit the first one, Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They go to Eddie's house, and they're all sitting there, and Eddie's giving all kind of hints what he wants. And the aunt finally goes, hell, he can't take a hint. I know the feeling. I was at Jason's store. I mean, I took the shirt off the rack. I put it on. Everything you could think of. Never did he get the hint. I think he got the hint, and I got the answer.
Yeah. I got the hint. I got the hint.
The hint was very obvious.
Put the shirt back on the rack.
I'm
You're
not
not
as
getting
nice.
free.
Get out some money or a credit card.
I'm not as
brother,
nice
okay?
as Ryan is to you. But he's like, I
no
think
free cloth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he made it clear.
He was trying to, jack a multi. I'm not sure if I need these or not. I might have 3 pills left. I'll come back maybe in a week.
Can you bring the bottle in tomorrow?
Prorate this
I'll pay you later.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
It wasn't on the shelf when he left.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Gone.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some other great sponsors we have, like Chuck Tucker, South Oak Title and Closing, American Charlie, J. Michael, Stevenson Air Conditioning, Dr. Chad Mitchell, Rudy's Barbecue. Man, is that not a great place?
Fantastic. And, if you like some of those glass bottled sodas, that they've got a great selection of those.
Oh, really? Yes, they do.
Oh, yeah. They got all the grape coes, all that cool stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that truly is a great restaurant. Go try it. I think you'll love it there. Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. We'll be right back. Jim Brandt, Jason Kovaleski, and the stud. He's here with us right now, one of the best coaches around.
That's right.
You ever think about coaching being a head coach at a high school?
Yeah, they come after me every day.
I've heard that.
I
get hit up all the time.
I don't have the time.
What's it going to take? How much money is it going to take?
Yep, exactly.
We ain't got it.
There's
We
not
don't have
enough.
it.
You got to talk to Jimmy Sexton as agent.
Yeah. We'll be right back. 104.3
Not
ESPN
ready for you.
Northwest Florida.
This is your captain speaking. Thank you for flying with ESPN Northwest Florida. Please return to your seats, buckle up, and prepare for launch.
He struck him out. Max Fried leaves the bases loaded.
The defending world champion Atlanta Braves are sponsored by PCB Coins and Cards, Guthrie's Fit Culture, Panama City Toyota, Brock's Pest Control, and ESPN Northwest Florida. And we apologize for any turbulence you've experienced this season with the Atlanta Braves.
Good Friday morning. My forecast is calling for a blend of sun and clouds today, spotty showers of thunderstorms, and the temperatures will range from about 85 to 92. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Showers of thunderstorms overnight and showers of thunderstorms over the holiday weekend. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
It's the cooling season, and time to call Steverson Air Conditioning for your preventative maintenance to keep your air conditioning system operating at full capacity. Steverson Air Conditioning has preventative maintenance programs, and they service all makes and models. Steverson Air Conditioning offers air duct cleaning. Steverson Air Conditioning has after-hours service and free estimates on a system change-out or duct cleaning. Call them at 248-1109.
Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers on Panama City Beach. Fresh, never frozen chicken tenders fried to perfection and served with their famous signature Guthrie sauce. Guthrie's box, snack, and chicken sandwich are sure to please. And for larger gatherings, try the family meal or Guthrie's Chicken Finger Bucket. Let Guthrie's cater your next event. Find their daily specials on Facebook, on Front Beach Road across from the Beach Shopping Center. Since 1965, fresh, hot, and fast. Now available on DoorDash and Uber Eats.
Now, it's the Coach James Hale Show.
Go nuts.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, Manning. Manning has signed with Texas Longhorns, and buddy, their recruiting has jumped up there. Ohio State's overtaken Notre Dame #1 recruiting class, and we still have a long way to go. But Johnny Cook, number 11, this is Texas' 11th commitment, the 5-star wide receiver, now going to Texas. Kid's a stud, unbelievable football player. He picked Texas over Ohio State. I mean, they're getting all kind of players because of Manning.
Right.
Do we really know how good this kid is? Are we going just because the name?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's a solid quarterback, don't get me wrong, but he has a perfect rating on 24/7, which only like 3 or 4 quarterbacks have ever had. I do think he's a little overhyped right now, but We'll get to it after this.
All right, before Eddie runs his mouth, I got a question for you, and I love him. He's a true American. We got him on the phone. Well, he's a true American. Eddie, don't open your mouth yet. I got a question for you. Why have you made housing so expensive? Apartments, houses to live. Why have you made food cost so much? Why health insurance has gone through the roof?
Because he's blue.
And gas. What is it with you liberals? What are you trying to do to this country?
Go blue truck.
Good answer.
Well, it's not me. It's just some idiots. So anyway, but karma will come and the Lord will take care of it. So you just got to believe, right?
Can I
the
ask?
The Lord will take care of it. The Lord will give them their due, the evil of this world. And that's it.
Can I ask you something, though? Why is Jim Harbaugh on this kick about telling everybody that Michigan's just not going to pay NIL deals out to players? I mean, to me, that is like, just basically killing your recruiting before it's even started.
But is he, though?
Yes.
They're ranked 55th in recruiting right now, today. They lost their. No, you listen. They lost. Listen, Michigan Eddie, I did this the other day, and you didn't call in. They lost one of the best linebackers in the country. He's been committed to them since December.
Top 4
Plays
star.
at Lincoln High School in Tallahassee, Florida. Decommitted. Decommitted.
After he made that comment.
Yeah.
So,
right after that.
But here's the thing, though. It's the NIL deals are getting brokered primarily by these collectives, not so much by the school. So
but just to say that is kind of counterproductive.
But it's about
optics. No, that is true. You are right there. Sometimes you need to keep your trap shut. But everybody knows that the collectives are the ones that are brokering these NIL deals. It's like the SCOTUS decision last week, right? Everyone's in an uproar that it changed everything. Well, actually, it did. It just gave power back to the states, and nothing really changed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So people need to do their research and not just read the fake news and all that and do their due diligence. You know what I mean?
Well, the country's dumb, and they believe everything the media says.
You're very right. You're very right. The country as a whole, a bunch of idiots.
Nothing's changed. It's just the state now decides what abortions are legal and not.
Yeah. So anyway, the vocal minority, that's acts like the majority. They're a bunch of idiots. So the patriotic majority that are silent need to rise up. Anyway, did I say that right?
Possibly. Back to Harbaugh.
I just woke up. Driving to Baltimore.
Hey, missionary, you're a great military man, and truly, we kid you all the time, but truly, I really look up to you. You're a true American. You're what this country's all about. I appreciate you serving the military. You love sports. I mean, you're a great father. He takes his kids everywhere to help them every way he can. He truly is a great person. I had a military man that I respect and love, did things that he can't even talk about, special service and everything. I'm not going to tell you his name or anything like that, and nobody will ever know who it is. But we were talking, and he said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, I will never, he's retired. He said, I will never go back in the military and fight for this government.
Right.
Ever will I put my line or my family in any kind of situation to help this government that we have right now. He said, now let me finish. He said, he said, do not believe anything you hear from either side of the media. He said, I was there when stuff was going on, and I know what happened. I know about some house arrests and things like some stuff. He goes, he really is against this guy. He's against our country screwed up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're robbing the resources of the country. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's going on is on purpose, and people need to figure that out for themselves, because until we come together completely, it's just going to be the same, and they're just going to rob the country blind like they did Venezuela. It's the same template they use. Go look what happened to Venezuela. They stole all the resources, stole oil. They came in, raised taxes. Inflation was out of control, and then the country's broke. I mean, and there's no reason for it to be happening other than they're doing it on purpose.
Listen, I got a picture right here
Can I
sent
say
to
something
me.
now?
Yeah, wait a minute. I got to get this in. I just got a picture in here from a famous radio guy up in Birmingham. Guess what he's got on? He's on. They're on TV and they're on the radio, and ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida.
Nice.
Jamie gave one of our shirts. That's pretty cool. He's talked about Jamie and her daddy down here. That's pretty cool. All right, go ahead, Michigan. I'm sorry.
So what I want to say is the vocal minority has become the majority, and the silent majority, the silent majority needs to become the majority. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we need to do that. And here's the thing: in the military, you don't fight for the idiots in the government. You know what I mean? It's the politicians that make the wars, as the military men and women that get us out of them because of their stupid decisions. Who you fight for God and your family and friends back home.
And the guy right next to you, right, Eddie?
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's who you fight for. You don't fight for the idiot politicians that make the wars.
I disagree with you completely. I agree with my buddy. I agree with everything he said.
No,
I would not fight right now for these idiots that are running it. All they're doing is trying to destroy us. And I'm sorry. Let's get off this. I don't even want to talk about politics anymore.
Okay. We'll talk about it. But
I think both are a little bit true right now. I think both instances are true. The people that go in, they're fighting for their brothers, they're fighting for their families, they believe in the country. But on the flip side, the people that are running this country right now are criminals. So anything you're doing for them is enhancing what they're doing, which is stealing the money and resources from our country. And it's blatant.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
We were doing great to Michigan Eddie called. Thanks, Michigan Eddie. You ruined it. You ruined it.
He didn't even say anything.
I was calling about the Pac-12. It's USC, UCLA leaving for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's what I was calling about.
Okay.
And then you went off on this political tangent.
Come on,
like you
Brand.
always
Hush.
do.
That wasn't political.
That was Jim Brand.
It was
That
common
wasn't me.
sense. But go ahead. What about USC, UCLA?
I'm a traditionalist, man. I'm a traditionalist. I think it stinks.
Oh, come on. We have to keep up with the SEC. Adding these
Well,
teams.
I know that, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of
Buckeye
sad.
boys.
Isn't it kind of sad in a way?
It is. Like Texas and Oklahoma have no business being in the SEC. Missouri has no business being in the SEC. Arkansas really shouldn't be in the SEC. You know what I mean? You got traditional SEC powers. You got traditional Big Ten powers. You got traditional Pac-10
We love
powers.
you, Michigan
They
Eddie.
can stay.
We love you.
Yeah.
Don't bring that political stuff back in here again.
Happy
Yeah.
4th.
How
That's
can you
all
do
my
that?
fault.
Hey, everybody have
Happy
a great
4th.
4th of July, Jason?
Yep.
Anything?
No, I'm good.
Ryan?
Happy 4th of July.
Jim
Be
Bob?
safe.
No, I'm good.
Happy 4th of July. We're out. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Hey, Braves fans. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win weekly prizes from Slim Chicken, Rudy's Barbecue, That Boot Store, Guthrie's, and Rib Crib with Atlanta Braves Trivia. Step 1, open the ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Braves Trivia. Step 2, answer trivia about a recent game. Step 3, score some tasty prizes and come home a hero. The Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Listen live on 104.3 in the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Good Friday morning. My forecast is calling for a blend of sun and clouds today, spotty showers of thunderstorms, and the temperatures will range from about 85 to 92. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Showers of thunderstorms overnight and showers of thunderstorms over the holiday weekend. We'll keep you updated. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Earthworks of Northwest Florida knows it's a perfect time for you to update your home. Whether it's routine touch-ups or a new look, Earthworks has just what you need. Sand, stone, mulch, and gravel, pickup or delivery. Visit earthworks.com and request a quote. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Love the land you live on. Earthworks of Northwest Florida, 2005 Industrial Drive.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right right just north of Southport Elementary School.
From the Florida-Bama line to the Gulf of Mexico. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana. Powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida. Two amazing seats at Truist Park. 2 round-trip flights, plus hotel, dinner, an Uber card, and spending cash. Keep listening for details on how you can win the 5-year flyaway. From ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome to the Dan Patrick Show.
I love Dan Patrick. Oh, my God.
Home to the biggest guests and best sports talk on radio.
I love it. One of my favorites.
Normally, home to Dan Patrick.
Hope you'll miss us.
But today, Dan and the Danettes are off.
Don't see another radio show behind my back, please.
And filling in, it's Doug Gottlieb and Jason Smith.
Good. There we go. It's good.
Broadcasting from the Mercedes Man Cave, this is the Dan Patrick Show.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Welcome inside Hour 2, the Dan Patrick Show, here on Fox Sports Radio. Jason Smith, Doug Gottlieb, in for Dan and the Danettes. As Bobby Bonilla liked to say in an exclusive interview he did with Action Sports, it's bigger than my birthday. And, Doug, you asked me last hour on the show, as a Mets fan, I told you how embarrassing it is. It's a really difficult optic, even though it was a sound business decision to defer payments to Bobby Bonilla, who's going to be getting $1.1 million on this day every year until 2035. Darren Ravel has a story on this with new information that we have never found out before, because he sit down with Bobby Bonilla, and Bonilla said that the Mets actually tried to get him to retire, and when they couldn't get him to retire, they worked on this agreement, and Bobby Bonilla Day was born. So this is what I mean when I say the optic for my team on this is just terrible. That they tried to convince him to retire because, look, we don't want to pay you. We don't think you're very good. Oh, and instead, all right, we're just going to give you $1 million a year for the next 35 years. This is what I mean about the optics surrounding the Mets.
Yeah, but I mean, tell me a team that I'm an Angel fan. You think the optics with Albert Pujols deal, was a good one, where they bought him out of the last year of his disastrous contract, and then he goes and plays with the Dodgers, and now he's back playing with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's still getting paid, I believe, to be at the end of his career to be a representative of the Angels. He's not an Angel anymore. All these contracts exist, and deferred payments, I think it's only a bigger thing because it's the Mets. I'll be completely honest with you, because we have more Mets fans that are broadcasters. Mm-hmm. It's the same. The Mets have actually been a good team. They've been in a World Series. There are so many other organizations that are so much more poorly run. The problem is that, one, they're the Mets, and you have a good number of people who are sportscasters, broadcasters, talking that are Mets fans. And then, of course, they're in the same city with the most successful baseball franchise ever. So you have those two things which make all Mets stories bigger stories than they actually are.
Well, yeah, and it's always the group of teams in every sport that it's easy to point fingers and go, see, they're always a laughing stock, right? Whether and most of them are my teams, because it's it's the Knicks, it's the Jets, but it's the Lions, it's the Raiders, it's the Browns, it's certain teams that just, these headlines follow them, and they're always more embarrassing and worse for them than they are if this happened to the Patriots, right? If the Patriots had a free agent signing that didn't work, and Bill Belichick agreed to pay a guy until 2030, it would be, well, hey, no, this was a smart business decision. This is just a deal that didn't go, but boy, what a great trend setting for the future Bill Belichick has thought of. It's all in the presentation of it. And some teams, that's how it goes for them. A team like the Mets, it's, let's jump up and down on them. But other teams, it would be, smart business decision. So it's just a perspective that the teams have that really hurt them in that situation.
There's no question about it. Can I ask you something? This is interesting to me. Okay. It feels like, with this being the first full day of NBA free agency, and Kevin Durant asking to be traded yesterday, it feels like that should be the biggest story. But the USC-UCLA thing has so many different layers to it and is so massive in the landscape of all college sports that I feel like maybe today it's equal footing with KD, or maybe even lesser footing than KD, but a historically bigger story. If you were seeding them in a tournament, which one would you say is bigger?
Today, I would say it would be USC UCLA, right? Because we had the big jarring headline yesterday, and it was jarring, but it was only jarring for a few hours because then NBA free agency, Kevin Durant opts out. And this is a year for free agency where, LeBron wasn't moving somewhere. You still had big names out there, but, when the biggest thing going into free agency is Jalen Brunson going to the Knicks, it's, all right, maybe this year is not quite the same. So we had the blockbuster of Durant, but we didn't have a resolution. And we don't know where he's going, and it's going to play out. But now the day after, people are starting to see this USC UCLA, and they're going to say, "Wow, this is USC leaving. These are the rock stars of college football that are leaving." Because even though USC hasn't had the footprint the last few years that they had in the early aughts, I mean, they were easily the biggest rock star program and still are. And now we're expecting them to be it again with Lincoln Riley and all the recruits that are following him, and the fact that these are the teams that are leaving. Is a much bigger deal because this would be Alabama leaving. Alabama's leaving the SEC for the Big Ten. Why is Alabama leaving? That's the impact USC has, and UCLA being part of it is great. But you're talking about an entire market leaving. The ramifications of what it means for the teams and the travel and are other teams going to follow. There is a huge domino effect for this. And I guarantee you this weekend, like when you and I are out and we're hanging out with our friends and we're talking about it, we'll talk about Kevin Durant for a few minutes because obviously, KD, where do you think he's going to go? But when it comes, this USC UCLA thing, and that's more of the conversation. And that's something that, 20, 25 minutes you can see going by talking with your friends about it, where KD will be like a 5-minute conversation, then a bigger one when he signs and you see where he goes and how that affects the NBA. But right now, this thing has so many tentacles and angles to it that it's just starting to become, and people are just starting to get the intricacies of this and